Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. Okay, we are back. I'm back. Leroy's back in his chair. Jesse's still black. Let's get the show going.
Let's do
this. All right.
I did not expect Jesse to change like that.
Exactly. So here's
He
the
is
deal.
still our brother
Yes.
from another mother.
From another mother, yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just an FYI, I have had a hell of a morning. So, just a quick chronicle of this. I wake up, get a text from my dad in a group chat with my brother. Mom's in the ER. So my mother was on her bike. She turned to go down a hill and didn't want to go down so fast, so she hit the brakes a little too hard, flipped over the handlebars. Probably should have just kept going with speed.
Probably
at
should
that
have kept
point,
going, yeah.
But anyway, flips over the handlebars, does a headstand.
Oof.
Folks, please don't let anyone get on a bike without a helmet. It is not worth it.
No.
She did
it
a
is-
headstand?
Yeah.
Was it a good one? Did she get
No.
like a perfect score?
No,
Oh, no,
she
she
didn't.
didn't. It's
No, she
Olympic season. I had to say it. you
The
know.
Russian judge would have been very
okay.
uncomplimentary.
Very
But
disappointing.
anyway,
They're very strict.
anyway,
on judges.
2 broken elbows. She'll be having surgery a little later, but in typical my family fashion, mom's okay, so life moves on. Anyway, that's the lighthearted news of the day. So as is tradition on the show, we're gonna get this over with right away so we can have a much better show. We're going to have a lot of shows starting out like this in a couple of years because it's just going to keep happening. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week, we lost Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. I don't even know what to say because, ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about somebody that just is known throughout every company, everywhere. These days, I don't think a lot of the AEW audience would know who he is. That's their fault, not mine. But
Right.
it's incredibly sad. Leroy, you have a nice little sort of eulogy of career achievements.
Oh,
for us.
yeah. One of my heroes when I was growing up, man. He was the AEWF, American Wrestling Federation champion. He was at one time. He was a member, of course, the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the George Tragus Luthie's Professional Hall of Fame. Georgia Championship Wrestling. He was the NWA Championship 3 times.
Yeah.
National Wrestling Alliance. He's in the Hall of Fame there. He was a National Wrestling Tag Team Champion with Brian Blair.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name going back for you.
He was NWA Mid-America World 6-Man Champion. Was that one time with Gorgeous George Jr. and Tommy Gilbert. Southern Heavyweight Memphis Version Championship 1 time. NWA TriStar Mid-South Association. He was the heavyweight champion there 5 times. Tag team champion once with Ted DiBiase.
I think, not to interrupt, but I think what we're learning through this is one of those guys that was versatile.
Yes.
One of those guys that easily could have been the world champion for his entire life, no matter where he was, but clearly was also able to go back to the tag team division. He was able to do a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And if you're wondering, what the name
everything.
Mr. Wonderful, folks, this is one of those guys. I mean, it's great athlete, star talent, was able to really do a lot of great work in there. Looked great. Looked like, you needed to back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, back then, a look actually mattered to people. So,
Yeah, I mean, he was in Mid-Atlantic. He was the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. In WWE, he did not win a big title. And
but I think they did still put him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, 2005.
He was in the class of
2005.
2005. He was in the Feud of the Year, 1986, with Hogan.
Yes.
He was ranked number 38 in the top 500, the PWI,
Paul,
in 93.
Again, I always
and
say,
that's a 93.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
I always say this is a sport where your impact does not always mean you're the champion.
Yeah.
But it can still feel like you were a champion style thing. And Paul Orndorff, I mean, very very subtle promos, not the Hogan-esque Warrior era promos, but. Not to say that he didn't have a presence on screen. Not to say that you weren't watching him when he showed up on screen.
You absolutely were.
I mean, I remember watching with Hogan. He was part of the Heenan family.
Yeah.
Somebody put a picture of the Heenan family. Everybody in that Heenan family picture is not with us anymore.
Yes.
I mean, I said I grew up watching him. I grew up watching him feud with Hogan and everybody else. It's part of my childhood. I mean...
And like we've said, Jesse, regardless of the last, I would say 15 years, back then, if you were feuding with Hogan, that meant something. I mean, that meant you were being seen at the top of the card almost every show.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, I mean, it's like we've said before, there's two kinds of main eventers. One is one that shows up every week and just has the ability to continue to get reactions.
Yeah.
That's a John Cena. That would I say would even be The Rock, especially during his main run.
Yeah.
And then there's main eventers that, they're an attraction. There's the Brocks of the world. There's there's the Stone Colds of now years. There's the Mike Tyson type situation.
Yeah.
Not in AEW, but you don't understand what I'm saying.
He was the headliner with Hogan at the first WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, it's just
I mean,
it's just folks. If you're getting in the business, that's one of those guys. Just go back and watch any work that he did, and it's just it's like before we get to the 10-bell salute, which of course is more than well deserved by Mr. Orndorff
sure.
here. Folks, this is where Jim Cornette gets right, no matter who he's talking about or who he's talking to. There was a time when you actually had to be something in this business. And that's where I think Jim gets really mad, mostly is because wrestling's not what it used to be. Not in the sense that we do the same types of wrestling or there's less high flying or anything. That gets misinterpreted every time Jim talks. No, there used to be a time where, and I know it's early in the show, but there used to be a time where girls wanted to fuck you and guys knew that their girl wanted to fuck you, and that's why they hated it. So it's like there was a time.
It's past a minute, so we're okay.
Exactly. There was a time in this business where sex sells didn't mean females.
Yeah.
It meant the men.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but are we gonna sit here and act like the Young Bucks ever sold more merchandise than the Fabulous Ones did pictures 8x11s to women?
I doubt that.
The Fabulous Ones, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who we're talking about, we're not here to do research for you. You need to do that. You need to do that for yourself.
Watch Michael Hayes when he gets up on the second turnbuckle in his move. I mean, was he doing that to say, "Hey, I am sexy, love me"? Yeah.
Yes. but no. I mean, Mr. Wonderful. Everything from the ability in the ring to the ability to talk to just the ability to have a physique that, let's be honest, again. And here's the deal: when you had a physique that stood out in that day, holy crap, that's got to be something.
One of his underrated things before we do the salute is he was also an excellent teacher.
Oh God, yeah.
Yep.
So he trained a lot of the great wrestlers that you knew in the 90s. His presence alone around the wrestling business is going to be missed.
Oh yeah,
because that's what he opened a school and everything.
Yep.
After his career when he was in done and trained.
And those are those old school schools that are going to be like, you're here to act like you're here. You're going to do it our way. You're not going to do it the way you came in knowing.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so we're going to get this over with because. It's never easy to do one of these, and what bothers me is at some point we're gonna have to do a show, and I'm not even kidding, where we're gonna have deaths that are gonna be big enough and significant enough where we're gonna have 2 or 3 separate of these because we're gonna have to. You can't just do one for 2 of the people that may pass away at that point.
Yeah.
So Leroy, go ahead. Rest in peace to Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. We thank you for the many, many years you gave us, and again, I can't say this about a lot of people dying from his era, but I get to say this about him. It's on tape.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about that. So go ahead, Leroy. We appreciate it. Thank you all so much for, sticking with us through that. All right, now we got to get to some big news. Again, one of those weeks in wrestling where it's like, boy, if we couldn't come up with 13 things to do, we weren't paying attention.
We were
Where to start, Jesse?
Something was wrong.
Jesse,
I could not pull up 13.
I think the best place to start is. No, this is not a. Hold on. No, this is not a movie starring a wonderful British actor. The King's Speech.
Yes.
Jesse, the King Switchblade was on Impact, and he spoke. And Jesse, unlike in the past where an attraction like that would maybe speak and then get interrupted. Looking at you, Spot Monkey, he was given time, and what he said had volume. It had heaviness to it. Jesse, if you would please.
The King Switchblade graced us in America with his presence. He didn't have to do that. I mean,
and it wasn't even supposed to be him, by the way.
Like,
so we have to remember that.
Like, everyone in the Impact Zone did the right thing. You show him his graceness. You bow before him, and he spoke. And people wonder, what did he speak about if you didn't see the speech? So
what didn't he speak about? I think is a better.
So first off, the King spoke, and he cleared up. Okay, he cleared up. I'm actually here for David Finlay at first, because technically he has a championship match with David Finlay over the Never Openweight Championship. Right now, their second most important title now that they don't have the Intercontinental Championship.
Stayed heel, by the way, by throwing some shade on the Finlay name.
True, very true.
Holy smokes, that was...
I watched that too, and I was like,
the King never forgets what throne he sits upon.
That is true. Oh, God, yeah.
So he got on Dave Finlay. That match is coming up, I believe, next week.
Okay.
That will be a banger because it's New Japan. It's usually a banger. But then he got into something that we've all been waiting for him to get on.
He had some Bullet Club business to
He
attend
talked to former members of Bullet Club.
Yes.
The so-called elite.
Yes.
The first two he called out were the Good Brothers. Now, I used to love me some Good Brothers. But recently on Impact Television, they have said some terribly unsavory things about how certain people in Japan should be grateful for them.
Starting to sound like CM Punk. We'll get into that later, but starting to sound like CM Punk asking for a thank you.
So, and Mr. Switch, Mr. White, let them know it's not that the OC guys who are still with us over there aren't grateful for you helping create it.
But their application to rejoin was
denied.
Effectively thrown in the out bin without being signed.
And the reason is because, and Jay was absolutely right, who are you anymore, Carl Anderson? You are not Machine Gun. Why are you still calling yourself Machine Gun? You know, he can still go.
Yes.
But you are much older now, Carl. And as he pointed out, and luckily Impact fans seem to be very smart, your last great run was when you lost in the G1 9 years ago.
It's only been about a decade since the last G1.
And then he pointed out to Doc, really, when you're not around Carl, who are you? And then he finally got to the so-called belt collector.
Before we even get to the former leader of the Bullet Club, that boy, did Don Callis really not have me excited with his little jacket release. Like, my God, how long were they chanting "You got fired" before he finally took the jacket off and got angry about it? And God bless Jay. You could tell by the way he said it, Jay had to save that whole freaking segment because that was so poorly done by Don. I was so embarrassed by Don in that situation.
The Elite once again being outclassed by Jay White.
Well, okay, it's interesting because I think this needs to be said. Jim Cornette reviewed a little bit of this, and I think that it's worth repeating, not to take Jim's lines here, but isn't the manager supposed to be the one who dresses like a bum and outlandish and crazy and wild? Why is he the only one dressed professional and Kenny's out there in like board shorts and an oversized t-shirt?
Because he's the worst world champion in professional wrestling. But I digress.
Maybe he thinks it looks cool,
but then again, the first ever Triple Crown champion was out there dressed to the nine, and looked as professional as all hell.
And listen,
he was the coolest man in the building.
He is the king. But so he finally gets on this idiot, Kenny Omega.
Yes.
And as he so elegantly pointed out.
By the way, hold on a second. I have to ask you before you go on. Is this not where you understood what Jim Cornette's been saying, that it's a phone sex breathy voice from Kenny Omega?
Yeah, well,
is this not the moment that I think everybody got it?
Like I said, I've noticed it the last month on AEW television. It's impossible.
But for some reason, Kenny, it was so evident here that, like, how could you not think breathy at the end of this?
So because King Switchblade elegantly points out,
is he inhaling and exhaling at the same time while talking? Because it just sounds like air is getting sucked through a hole in his head.
When you see it, you just go like this.
That's about it. Jesse.
So King Switchblade elegantly pointed out to Kenny Omega, the last time I saw you in New Japan, I believe I beat you. He did.
But remember, unlike the Bucks and FTR, King Switch is not going to come to another company just to get a loss so that we forget about that.
Absolutely not. Because he's not going to go and lose to Kenny Omega. That is beneath the great King, Jay White. So
Jay White's in that category where even if New Japan screws up, he can go wherever the hell he wants.
Oh, he's going to be great wherever he goes. But to give the Good Brothers credit, while most of their comebacks on his promo were terrible, they did point out, we get it. You are the Bullet Club leader. You are. Like, there's no disputing that. You're not the heavyweight champion right now, but we get why you chose not to be the heavyweight champion right now, because I'm sure he could always go take that belt if he wanted to.
He's proven himself.
He has proven himself to be a top guy in this industry.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But they were still looking for their thank you. I think you missed part of the promo where he said, you already are appreciated, but who the hell are you now?
See, here's the thing, folks. People need to understand there is a new level of standard in the Bullet Club.
Yes.
The GOD has spoken. No one's getting rid of the Rogue General because, let's be honest, at this point he is Bullet Club till he dies. But there's a standard now.
Yes, there is.
And going to joke wrestling, comedy wrestling, it's not going to fly.
That's not those guys.
No. See, again, this isn't Bullet Club. We're going to find 12 members across the world and make them members for God knows what or whatever reason. This is, you are Bullet Club or you're not.
Yeah.
There's a standard that is now on the application process, and if you don't live up to that, King Switch won't even need to discuss things with the GOD. He just kind of has to sit there and say to himself, this is not Bullet Club.
He eliminates the issue before it becomes an issue.
Exactly.
So, because one of the reasons he also went to Impact, as we found out, because, of course, they're the Good Brothers, so they tried to jump him, was he was there recruiting.
Of course.
Now, who did he recruit? Now, people are like, whoa, really? He recruited Chris Bay. Now, let me tell you guys why it makes sense for in Impact that he recruits Chris Bay. Chris Bay is a winner.
Yes.
Chris Bay is a former X Division, two-time X Division champion, has contended for the World Heavyweight Championship. Bullet Club nowadays, it's about winning.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about the whole joke stuff, whatever. They're about winning. And every now and then having to put beat downs on folks.
You know, sad part about it is, to get out of kayfabe for like half a minute here, what bothered me was, what ruined this segment even more was, once again, Kenny's got to throw in something that is irrelevant to the actual wrestling. We sold more T-shirts. Dude, yes, I own one of those T-shirts, but by the way, I bought it when AJ Styles was the leader of Bullet Club, not when the Bucks and Kenny decided to use the Bullet Club to sell more T-shirts of the Elite. But the fact of the matter is is that I don't really care what anyone wants to tell you or wants to say to you. I'm being very clear. This ain't about T-shirt sales, folks, okay?
Yeah.
This ain't about merchandise.
No.
This is about a standard.
Yes.
The word standard continues to come up.
And by the way, I ignored that line because you guys sold T-shirts off of the back of the legendary AJ Styles. It was not you.
Pretty sure Jeff Jarrett's name sells more.
Probably.
Like
it's very clear those T-shirts started to sell more, not because you guys decided to put it on Pro Wrestling Tees, but because AJ Styles.
I also want to point something out. When
group.
AJ Styles was the leader of the Bullet Club shirts were falling off of Hot Topic's shelf.
Yes.
As soon as you guys came in and added your own T-shirts and this and that, all of a sudden they're slowly coming off the rack, and all of a sudden there's these orange and white T-shirts that say the mom or the man on them, and all of a sudden Becky Lynch is the hottest thing in Hot Topic, and you boys are in the bargain bin.
Yes.
You're on the shelf where it's the buy one get one for $1 shirts. So boys,
it's not really a good line to put out there as a diss towards New Bullet Club, They've never needed you.
No.
Kenny, they've done way better without you. Now, the addition of Evil is something that will be discussed at some point. I will happily speak with people online live about it. But do never get it twisted. Jay White is a throwback to Prince Balor. Prince Balor, I should say, where it ain't about the jokes. We here to win, and we'll do it by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And I got a good feeling that when they finally show up in AEW,
Yeah.
there's an ass whooping coming to the Elite. Like, they took one on their way out of New Japan,
Yeah.
but I think the one they're going to get in their own company is going to be special. I mean, so Tama kind of did a tweet where he said, listen, it's been a while since I've flown to the States. He's like, it'd be a damn shame to fly there and whoop somebody's ass.
You know, I also thought the line about the home of the king was a little bit childish as well, because I'm like, no. See, the king is understanding that there needs to be some modesty when he approaches to a new kingdom.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean he can't conquer it whenever he damn well pleases. It's just for now we will live amongst the people. We don't need to take the crown just yet, boys.
And as Jay kind of alluded to, at any time, that beautiful gold belt you have, man, it will look damn good around my waist.
And then it will finally mean something.
It will actually mean something.
Yes. By the way, can I just point this out? I understand what the old school belt is based off of, the AEW World Title.
Yeah.
But in that moment, did the never openweight title just look so much better?
That's why the saying goes, the champion makes the championship.
Yeah.
Because anytime I've always said Roman Reigns, guys like this, they hold a title. John Cena, that's why I gave John Cena a lot of credit for that U.S. Championship run back not too long ago, like 5-6 years ago. He made it feel important. The champion makes the championship feel important.
Yes.
So the king has spoken, and like I told AEW, Marks, don't get too excited. It's not going to go well for your boys. Because they took a hell. I think they kind of forget. I remember the ass whooping. As a matter of fact, if AEW fans would like to get on New Japan and pay the $10, I can give you the date exactly of when they whooped Cody, Kenny, and the Young Bucks' ass on their way out, and it was a beautiful sight. I went back and watched it recently last night. It was gorgeous. I have forgotten how cool Haku looked, telling his boys, take them out.
Well, and again, folks, every great faction, every great kingdom has always had sort of a lull in their
transitional king, to say the least.
Fair enough. There's always been a transitional period. Kenny Bucks, that's you, boys. Anyway, so now Jesse's going to eat a little crow, not from me, but from the internet, and I'm going to say I don't think I deserve crow, but I will give some love here, folks, to transition here. AEW may have finally done something right, but let's pump the brakes on, the world ending, then I'm going to compliment them. Number one, congratulations, boys. It seems you have Daniel Bryan and theoretically CM Punk on the AEW roster.
Well, and this is what I say about if it's true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the big surprise. Now, the big surprise we talked about for their show in New York, which, by the way, they've added more seats.
Yes.
Wonderful for them. Here's the thing. Before we go on, folks, we've never wanted the business to go out of business.
No.
That was never the point of our criticism. Our criticism has been, this is bullshit, and if you can't see it, then you need to take off the glasses.
Like I said last week.
Because you need a new prescription.
Like I said last week, the criticisms come from, you can be much better than this.
Yes. Now, so while Daniel Bryan is now supposedly no longer a surprise for your show in New York, CM Punk could be a surprise whenever he comes in.
Yes.
But again, congratulations. Tony Khan finally opened up the checkbook and said, because here's the deal. If you think those guys are coming for any less than 7 figures,
you're out of your mind.
Either they're stupid or you're nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because even Vince would start at 7 figures for these two guys again.
If Daniel Bryan, I see it happening. CM Punk. I mean, people are like, oh, my God, he's following him on Twitter. Okay.
He wasn't following him on Twitter. I believe it was called Living Color was following AEW on Twitter.
So
something like that.
that doesn't really mean anything.
Okay, so let's just act under the assumption that they're both going, shall we? Here's the deal, and here's the problem that I have. You have messed up every single goddamn wrestler you've brought in. And that's number one.
By the way, I now have another week. I have another week because the Malachi Black Cody Rhodes match is next week. And if I'm right,
why didn't they do that at Fyter Fest?
I know, because if I'm right and he loses to Cody Rhodes,
it's too logical.
I will have a lot to say on the show.
Yes,
but please continue.
But anyway, so number one, you've messed up everyone that's come in.
Yes.
Number two, can we stop with this? Oh, we're not gonna be like WWE. Can we stop that we're going to give the wrestlers a chance? How about the 85 guys who aren't formerly of Vince's paycheck? Oh, by the way, of Vince's paycheck in the last 5 months, let alone 5 years. Enough of the... No. Here's the deal. I was going to compliment you motherfuckers, but now I got to go off on you because here's the deal. I am done with this crap. Your show is being led by WWE rejects. It is. And by the way, you know what? The internet might be right. Jim Cornette might be right. I think Vince... You think Vince is just saying, hey, Tony, keep spending money on guys I don't want to spend money on anymore.
Oh,
but guess what? They're going to come back and come into my Hall of Fame at some point.
Yeah.
They're going to come back and work Legends contracts with me.
At some point.
That's true.
But it's just no. You signed the quote unquote cream of the crop of the indies. That was your words, not mine. It's bullshit either way. You signed.
Wait.
Hold on.
The bad boy.
Let me rephrase. I apologize. You signed.
Thank you.
Let me rephrase. You signed what you thought was the cream of the crop of Southern California wrestling. Anyway.
Basically.
But here's the deal. You guys.
Basically signed PWG is what they did.
The bad version of PWG.
Yeah.
This is what happened to Tony Khan. That's what happened.
But the thing about it is that once again, you're paying a bunch of money for guys who are going to take up more television time. You think they're going to be on YouTube? No, they're not going to be on YouTube.
No.
But here's the deal. When am I finally going to see this company? And I'm not even going to bring up sports-based presentation because we all know that's been out the window since about the first month.
Yeah.
But when are we going to start to see some of these guys who were barely on television in the first year when you didn't have all these WWE guys? And now that you have all these WWE guys, we're referring to them more than like because at this point because okay, here's the deal. Now we got to have a segment for Kenny and the Bucks. That's 2 different segments.
Yeah.
Actually 3 because Kenny gets 2. We need the
That's true. Yes.
We need 2 segments for the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle because they all get 2. We also need to have an Andrade segment.
Cody always gets his own.
Cody gets his own. What am I up to now? 7? Am I up to 7 segments? 7, 8 segments?
How many hours into the show is this?
Knowing them, probably
45 minutes.
No. Knowing them, there's 5 minutes left for a Britt Baker promo. Anyway,
do we need that?
Apparently we do.
Oh,
apparently we have to take the great heel heat that she's created
and turn her into the most baby-faced woman.
And turn her back into a babyface because you know what? We couldn't do it right the first time. Let's figure it out now. But it's just here's the deal. You continue to have so much bullshit happen. Where's the room for these guys? So now to get Daniel Bryan and CM Punk out there, we have to cut probably 1 women's segment because we got to have at least 2 of those on this.
We got to do this to a segment.
They don't actually
I don't know.
They don't even use a lot of women on the show that much.
Okay.
And when they do 2 women's segments, they put them so close together it feels like one.
Yeah. See that the rumors that going, and then off in the distance.
Oh no.
There's another rumor for WWE.
We're not done yet.
Rumors Braun's coming back. They're
Hold on.
saying. Can you believe that?
We'll get to strong style reject over here in a second. We have
no news on that either, really. It's fun, isn't it?
Because there probably isn't much. But anyway, here's the deal.
There.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you get these guys, A, congratulations. Pass me the Skittles, by the way. I don't care which one. I don't care which one. But
this one is open.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are so welcome. I just realized what kind of Skittles those are.
Skittles gummies.
Yes. Skittle gummies.
Skittle gummies. The new wild berry
family
gummies.
pouch.
You guys are so welcome.
But anyway.
I know.
Bring it to a couple shows. Now everyone else is hooked on it. I love it.
Damn you.
We had these on the way down to Bobsville.
Trust me. When we head down to Stillwater in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. They'll be coming.
But anyway.
Walmart shopping, I'm getting it.
But here's the deal, folks. Now I have to ask a question, and it's to my lovely panel here, who's not here, so Jesse and Leroy are going to fill in. Anyway, what did...
Bitch.
I'll take it.
I like that. Thank you.
But anyway.
I can't get the lovely ladies in here because
exactly.
you're here.
Exactly.
They'd be here for me and Jesse.
Oh, for sure.
But you're taken, so they're like,
I already have my
whatever.
lovely lady at home.
I know.
Anyway, but anyway, so now my question to you two lug nuts is, why should I be excited?
So here's the thing, you shouldn't.
And I'm serious because here's the deal. You've once again proven you will botch anyone's debut.
Well, Daniel Bryan's truly, you can tell, he's truly really only going to maybe have a couple matches with some of the guys he was already probably going to have a match with, so probably Kenny, probably Cody.
At least he'll be seen by more people.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Kenny at this point.
So Kenny will have one more good match.
I'm about to say, he'll have one more great match.
As long as actually, no. To be fair,
I'm not putting great. I'm saying good.
To be fair,
his matches are usually very good.
No. We've proven he can have a great match as long as he's not calling it.
I know Daniel.
Because otherwise, he has to get his fucking 37 V triggers in there.
I didn't use that many kicks when I played Street Fighter.
Me neither.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, go ahead.
So here's the thing.
Yes.
The big question is, and like I told people, it's a wait-and-see process. Will this really move the needle? Now, they've done their best couple of weeks of numbers recently.
But again, as I discussed with you off camera, it's been Fyter Fest. So once again, do this on a regular Dynamite.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start talking.
Here's the problem. The almost 1.2 million is still 700,000 less than Raw.
Which is saying something.
And still almost $1 million less than what SmackDown is now starting to average for the last month. So
SmackDown with fans is the equivalent of Jay White with facial hair. All of a sudden, you get it. And I'm serious. Because
that is a wonderful analogy.
But I mean, think about it.
I love
SmackDown at home, you could cheer for everything being great. But everyone does such great work that now that you're live, you hate who you're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
And you love who you're supposed to love.
Yes.
Paul has done a beautiful job of it.
Yes.
But no, it's just
the only way this moves the needle for them is the use in however many times he wants to wrestle a year, because that was his whole thing, is he didn't want to go back on the road. And funny enough, it's not like they're doing shows every weekend. It's literally like a Saturday. Like if they don't have a big show, that's how WWE's doing their live shows.
Yeah.
Because I think Vince did put it out there last year. Like, well, even when fans come back, I'm not doing as many house, because they just didn't make any money.
No.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
Which is now so far why he turned them into super shows.
Yes.
But the only way it moves the numbers some is because of the CM Punk fanatics.
Yes.
By the way, you guys who have been sick of for 7 fucking years, I guess welcome back to pro wrestling. By the way, it never left. You're just an asshole. Because if you loved the sport, you would have kept watching.
The other sad part about the CM Punk situation is that CM Punk said himself, and this is not me quoting the Jim Cornette podcast, this is the truth, as you both can attest to, he didn't want to be another guy doing bad television.
That's what he said.
How is this better television?
I don't know. I
understand ratings aren't everything, but you can't tell me it's still good television just because the ratings are down.
It's going to move the needle when they show up the first day. The first night.
That first show is going to do well.
Which, by the way, we're going to be told, so there's no real surprise because TNT doesn't understand what it means to have a wrestling show. USA is just like, yeah, do whatever you want because they they don't know any better.
No, I know.
And they at least admit it.
I know USA kind of got involved because Raw was doing so fucking terribly that it was almost under $1 million.
Well, but see, here's the deal. I also think Raw, in what they're proving now, they had such a roster shakeup. They had to build the story because everybody was kind of in limbo because of the COVID thing. I think Raw coming out of COVID is going to Raw.
It's been a bit better.
But the problem is that Raw's only problem through COVID was Paul Heyman wasn't in charge.
Well, I
there we
mean,
go.
that's probably a lot of WWE's creative problem, to be honest.
Paul Heyman used COVID as a chance to say, what's the big deal about 20,000 people when you've already spent a year on television with over 1 million?
Yeah.
So Paul Heyman got all these live reps, not in training camp. Well, I guess in training camp.
Yeah.
And now that the season's here, now that it's time to roll, they're all just kind of going through the motions, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a way where they're using everything they know,
Yeah.
and it's actually translating to the field.
Oh, yeah.
To use my football analogy.
So, like I said, I will say this. It will move the needle at first. Because, I mean, listen, CM Punk's still a huge name.
But how much? But the other problem is that how much more are we going to get out of him, physically?
That's the thing.
Yeah. How long has it been? A long time.
You can stay in shape, but
it was 5 years ago where he lasted a lot less than I did drunk with the hot chick one time.
All right.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's just throw that out there. He lost in under 2 minutes. That's the least I've ever lasted in bed. Let me say this.
Yes.
He's not going to do a ton of shows. It will probably be very Sting-like. Because there's no way he's going to wrestle every week.
Well, Sting like in WWE, but right now Sting's out there every week doing shit with Orange Cassidy.
I actually thought that was fun, but we'll get to Fyter Fest here in a bit.
You got Fyter Fest results?
You probably won't need them because I actually remember the show.
Okay, cool.
I'm relying on him.
Geez, you're off a week, and all of a sudden you can't even get back to your own situation.
Well,
anyway.
I got the more important one.
Fair enough.
Money in the Bank.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All
Jesse, as you were.
But
and I printed our logo out.
As you were, Jesse.
So, Daniel Bryan's only going to probably work with the bigger stars, but he'll mostly be working in NWA, ROH, and New Japan.
Well, but here's the other thing people don't realize.
Mostly NWA
Yes.
and New Japan, from what I heard.
Here's the other thing people don't understand. You've given creative control to so many people, but that creative control still goes through 4 people. And the problem is that
they don't even like to talk to each other, apparently.
No, but the problem is, well, okay, 5 if we want to count QT. But the fact is this.
No,
Daniel Bryan's going to want to do, and yes, Daniel Bryan has done a thumb war in the middle of a ring with Kenny Omega, but Daniel Bryan's still going to want to wrestle. CM Punk's still going to want to take things seriously. And the other thing about it is that if CM Punk comes in and gains all this merchandise sales, all this fanfare, you know who it's going to piss off, and it's not even the Bucks and Kenny. It's going to piss off Cody. So now all of a sudden you've got Cody. Is Cody going to work as a heel in this company?
Probably not.
No.
You think Punk's going to be heel? The only way Punk's going to walk in and be heel is if he basically walks in and he says everything Jim Cornette's been saying. Which, by the way, Punk might.
I was about to say
because the thing about it is, as much as Punk didn't like the ever-going roller coaster that is WWE, still a much more professional environment than this shit show's been. So, here's the deal. We'll reserve judgment until after the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Yes.
We will reserve judgment until we finally know that they are all elite. We're going to reserve judgment to when we finally figure out what's going to happen with these guys. And we'll reserve judgment for when Malachi Black inevitably loses to Cody Rhodes. But anyway.
And to address what you brought up, Leroy, I think it can be summed up very quickly about this rumor. Of fucking course he was going to be back. Come on, people. Did you really think Braun Strowman was going to, like, AEW or something? Are you out of your mind?
Well, rumor has it, and I did see that. It's because Vince wanted to bring him back because he didn't want another one going back to AEW.
They needed him to. Well, like I said, and I was, and I was just guessing, but I was probably right.
Yeah.
They clearly just wanted to bring him back on a lesser contract.
Well, not only that, but the fact
that
of the
was
matter.
it.
Well, not only that, but the fact of the matter, and this is the biggest bullshit in my opinion. the rumor that they want to bring him back over the ever-growing fear of him signing with AEW. Fine, Tony Khan, go sign him for 7 figures and realize that you're going to get about as much out of him as Vince did, which wasn't much.
Well, all I can say with this stuff going on with AEW, it feels like
2000 WCW?
Yeah.
2001 WCW?
I feel like...
Were they even...
Not yet.
Was there even 2002 WCW to talk about?
They were dead.
Exactly.
See, that's the time I'd like
So
to...
we're slowly getting there is what you're saying.
I'd like to, get
2022. Got it.
go get my old girlfriend, but she's married. She can't really do anything with me and sit on the
I
couch
think
and
we're
watch
still
games.
in
We're
late
watching with her,
99,
so I don't
early
know.
2000 WCW.
Still not good WCW.
It's still not.
but-
I mean, and
But getting
it's-
to 2001 WCW is the death of a company.
yeah,
But the thing about it is
I
that
don't see
folks,
it going any other way,
folks,
unfortunately.
folks,
I don't think they'll get there.
and the other thing about it is,
it could.
Despite everything we've heard from Mr. Shad Khan himself, Jesse, you and I both know at some point, Daddy's gonna have to close the checkbook.
Well, Daddy will pull the fucking plug if it's just losing him money all the time, which apparently right now it is.
But here's the deal. Forget the video game for 5 seconds. Here's the deal. You keep signing these people, but you're not cutting the people that ain't actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Do people not realize 90% of this roster shows up just to sit in the crowd and gets paid for the night?
Yeah.
This is the same thing that people were bitching at Vince for. Why are you bringing this guy? Why are you bringing this guy in? You're not using these guys. Well, he does use these guys. But Tony's bringing all these people in to get numbers, to get people to watch, to sell merchandise.
He's bringing them in because the Bucks keep saying, hey, this guy's going to be helpful, but then the show goes, and Tony gets so freaking ADHD about his own show that he forgets he signed 5 other people on the roster.
Well,
I'm sorry, but in what goddamn world should Brandon Cutler get this much airtime when you've got who else sitting back there?
Like I said, the biggest sin for AEW, and there's a lot of sins, but the biggest sin
Has been Michael knock it the fuck off my television?
besides him is the fact that he's a perfect example of what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
The biggest sin is that you created these 2 YouTube shows, which you had a chance to use, promote every time you're on Dynamite.
I'm going to be honest
have
with
numbers
you.
through
Before
the
you
fucking
continue,
roof.
not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I realized how bad Dynamite was, and I sat there, and I said to myself, you want to know what really makes me worried about WWE? It wasn't Dynamite. It was the YouTube shows.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's an untapped market there.
Yes. Which, by the way, still not tapped. Still not tapped.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still think NWA gave up on it. I think Billy gave up on it too quickly, because he was doing. Power was doing exceptionally well on YouTube because people were like, "Holy shit, it's like old school wrestling," and the numbers were growing and growing. And the pandemic hit, so they couldn't do shows.
Right.
And it felt like he gave up and decided to put it on Fight TV.
Yeah.
And like I said, that to me is the one thing Billy has done with NWA that I haven't liked, because I'm like, dude, you were doing so well.
Yeah.
Now I think now they kind of start putting them on, but they put them on like 2 weeks after they've already aired on Fight TV.
Right.
But by that point, somebody could just read the results.
Yeah.
AEW too. I mean, they're dropping the ball. I mean, they got 3 guys that we know that came out of Minnesota, young, talented, and they haven't used them at all.
I mean, fuck, Julia Hart. I know she's only like 19, 20. So,
But that's the problem. I mean, you got him, JDX.
can I call an audible real quick? 'Cause we got to get to this.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so one of the best young talents that have almost cultivated themselves in AEW is the Acclaim. These 2 have fucking found their name. They found their niche. They do a wonderful job.
I thought they were just going to be literally one of the most annoying things in the card.
But
I'm actually enjoying the Acclaim.
They're actually
Yeah.
usually very funny, but you should be careful always with your humor. You can't keep insinuating that she's just getting gangbanged by Garrison and fucking Brian Pillman all the time. Like, dude, she's 19. She's still a kid.
Okay. You actually set me up with now. I'm going to call an audible, and I'm going to take that from you for 2 seconds.
Okay.
But okay, ladies and gentlemen, you got your world champion joking about 69ing his manager on live television in the middle of the show. So, you know what? No. No, I'm not mad at the Acclaimed because why not go with this childish humor? Because your friggin' world champion who's 30+ years old is still friggin' doing it. So you know what? No. No. I'm actually going to yell at Jesse for a second. I'm not even mad at the Acclaimed. They don't even deserve the heat, and here's why.
Well, I'm not even mad at them about it because you're right. The world champion does it. You know who I'm mad at about this? This is what I was getting to.
Yeah.
This man has 20% of his fucking investments invested in this company. So Tony's not the only person losing money. It's Cody fucking Rhodes. At some point, you're going to look at that, the only so-called mixed baby in Georgia. What a fucking dumb promo. I'm sorry. You're going to have to edit all that language out. What a dumb promo. I've never heard such a dumb thing. Every time I say it makes me laugh.
Me edit stuff out?
We don't edit the
show. Hell no.
We don't edit the show.
But, like, at some point, even he's going to be like, dude, okay, I got to step in as the second in charge. This has got to stop.
The Renee Paquette thing was funny because of the name of her show.
Yeah.
But Renee's also one of the most brilliant women.
By the way, apparently had already taped an interview with Max Cassidy.
Yeah, exactly.
So he cleared it with her.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was not a problem.
And Renee's not just one of the most brilliant female minds in the business. She's just one of the most brilliant minds in the business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She knew
definitely.
that calling it that was going to get more publicity just on the name alone.
Yeah.
Forget the content. The name was going to get it. But no, it's just, folks, this is what I'm saying. You can make those jokes 4 times a week because your world champion does it. Roman Reigns sets a standard. Now, when Roman Reigns made that whole missionary joke on SmackDown, it was great because it was out of left field.
Yeah.
It made no sense. Now, but the other thing about it was that it also was an adult sexual joke.
Yes.
It was a XXX sexual joke,
aimed at a 45-year-old legend in their game.
Yes, not
I was
a bunch of
surprised by that.
6-year-olds, finding out what 69 meant for the first time and joking about it on television.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that when Roman did that. I was like, damn, Roman, you're really going out there.
But the thing
All
about
right.
it is that, again,
I loved
Roman.
What I hated was WWE edited out of the YouTube clip.
Yes.
That's what I hated.
Yes.
Because I'm like, listen, guys, I've literally heard Brock say less and you didn't, or worse and you didn't edit it out.
Yeah.
Because Brock's a horrible promo.
Right.
But I'm just like, why did you edit it out? But yeah, my whole part of that is like, at some point, and I told you it's coming before the end of the year.
Yeah.
At some point, Cody's gonna blow up on these guys because he's got like 20 to 30% of his own money invested in this.
So
company.
next week, because now this is our thing, we're gonna start writing stuff down and doing it next week on the fly. Next week, I think we need to have a discussion, and if it takes the whole show, it takes the whole show. But if it takes a couple of segments, it takes a couple of segments. We need to sort of explain why Cody is gonna get pissed.
Yeah.
We're going to chronicle his history in the business, his family in the business.
Including the fact that, you know what he said? You guys probably didn't even hear this. He was interviewed because, of course, now that things are heating back up.
Are we talking about the Triple H comments?
So, yeah, he said, so people are only focused on the fact that he said his favorite wrestler was Triple H. You want to know what he also said? He said, while I have taken my shots, I actually highly respect this man because he helped teach me everything that I'm trying to do now. Because he's like, he actually lent me insight into this.
Well, but Triple H also wouldn't. Triple H would also take 2 looks at the Young Bucks, and this wouldn't be Triple H of 2002, 2003 with the golden shovel.
Yeah.
This is Triple H literally just looking at this like, this is not money making. This is not a segment. Why?
Because here's the problem, and like I said, and one of the biggest things.
You got that written down for next week?
One of the biggest things I think we'll get to next week when we discuss
Chronicle
this
of Cody Rhodes.
Roadie codes.
Is that Cody?
I know I need some more Scooby sticks.
Oh, we got plenty of those.
I think the big thing we'll come to in that discussion will be this. Sometimes you can't hire your friends to do everything. You just can't.
Better yet, maybe you need to realize that, you know what? Sometimes you need to realize you became friends with somebody, and then you realized halfway through, it's not really my circle to run it.
They're just immature. They're immature grown-ass men. and they're not capable of running a wrestling
what they
show.
are, what they are, and this is for a spoiler for next week. But what they are,
a spoiler for next week.
Hold on.
All right.
What they are is two grown men who have realized that even though they are working for the lowest common denominator fan, that lowest common denominator fan's willing to spend money on you.
Very true.
And that's all I'm going to say on that. We'll get into that a little more next week.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is this. The King wants nothing to do with AEW as pleasantly presented.
No.
The Prince of Professional Wrestling, Cody Rhodes, which he does deserve to be called because your father was one of the all-time greats.
And Cody, like I said, I can tell when you look back and they give the producing credits to people like Bleacher when they're reviewing the show. And you can tell the segments that Cody helps write.
Yes.
He actually gives a shit because those segments are decent.
Yeah.
Like, he cares.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does he want to put on a show for their fans, but he wants new fans to come in and be like, oh, okay, I like this.
But anyway, folks, we're going to get back to that a little more next week because there's a lot more to delve into. And I think the only way to really talk about it is to bring up all the things that we need to bring up in there. But anyway, moving on.
It is on the list for next week.
1,000,000.1 was the number.
Yes.
It was still the third best show of the week. Raw was 1.6. That was up. Even NXT went up, even though it was only 705,000, I'm sorry. But SmackDown...
Tuesday seems like a bad night.
It's a rough night,
wrestling.
Yeah.
It is
but anyway, SmackDown, the A show, the show, ladies and gentlemen, 2 points. Jesse, would you like to finish it?
2.125 million. By the way, that is an average for the whole month.
And
average.
It's pretty good. The doctor of thugonomics
I
showed up.
I like thugonomics better.
Yeah. No,
Thugonomics, there we go.
no, but that's Kenny.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. But we got Mr. Cena, that giant. I hope Pat McAfee can see now. Showed up and started both shows.
Am I the only person that just literally gets a childlike glee when Matt McAfee gets a microphone?
I think
it's just
okay.
So...
I think
you should have seen me on Sunday night when Cena showed up.
Yeah.
Eben is sitting on the floor next to the couch, and I'm smacking him in the shoulder going, it's Cena!
Yep.
And he's wigging out as bad as me.
But I mean, Pat...
So
I love you, Pat.
Michael
I really
Cole
do.
did an interview on Pat's show before Money in the Bank.
He did.
And I think Michael Cole said it all, where he just said, like, you bring such an exuberance. Like, you bring such a love for this thing.
The Michael Cole hate on the internet's died down ever since Pat showed up.
Yeah.
It really has.
Because what he said was like...
Also from that video that we saw when Cena showed up at Money in the Bank, they didn't tell Michael Cole that John was there. There's no way Michael Cole's that good of an actor.
They also didn't tell... So apparently what Pat kind of divulges, they don't tell him anything about the show. Because Vince decided, he's like, I want your actual genuine...
Well, but again, okay, pause for a second, because now I get to go on one of my pro-Vince tangents, okay? Here's the deal, folks. Once again, if you're willing to put yourself out there, if you're willing to
By the way, he's paying Pat a lot of money, apparently. Because Pat really doesn't need to do this.
He's made $1 million in everything he's ever done, and he's already made $1 million in this.
There we go. Love it.
No, ladies and gentlemen, if you are willing to put yourself out there, if you're willing to take the lumps, if you're willing to also have a backup plan... Which, yes, I know is hard to do, but at the same time, you can do.
Yes.
If you're willing to do it, and you're willing to put in the work, and you're also willing to be respectful of the process, Vince McMahon will see you, he will see what you're doing, and if it's actually working, he's not just going to temper it.
No.
He's not just going to stop it.
No.
Everyone says Vince doesn't want anyone to ever get as big as The Rock and Stone Cold did because they're bigger than the brand. First of all, the NFL's been doing that for years.
First off, that's such a ridiculous statement.
The problem
wants
is
them to do well.
The problem is that nobody is going to be as big as Rock and Stone Cold again.
It's going to be hard to do.
Yes, exactly. My point is, and by the way, I want to point something out. I want to point one goddamn thing out. She won the belt. She said, "I'm the man now." Vince said, "You're damn right you are." That bitch She's bigger than the WWE. Becky Lynch is bigger than the WWE. Don't even at me.
And
at
we're
that.
all waiting for her to come back. Damn you, Becky, come back.
As she said, because of what Charlotte said during her promo, she's like, "Yeah, you're right. I am
at home breastfeeding and still
I'm
most
still over than most of the women in the division." Which is true.
No, over than all of them.
Yeah, which is
more over
very
than all
true.
of them.
And I think Becky's boobs are probably nicer in Charlotte. I'll have to ask.
Well,
Seth.
listen, I don't think Seth can whoop your ass to say it. Seth is a fine man, but I don't think Seth can whip your ass.
I don't think he'd whip my ass. He'd be like, "Well, you are correct."
But the fact of the matter
He's a
is
respectable gentleman.
But the fact of the matter is this, folks. Becky Lynch is a prime example of get yourself over, and Vince ain't. But see, here's the problem that people don't get, and the Bucks are a prime example. You want to get over, and you want to have all the credit. Becky and John at least have John Cena.
Yeah.
They've sat back and they've said, well, it's not without Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, folks. The Green Bay Packers, their biggest fault was not giving Rodgers more credit. They took credit for this crap. That's the problem in Green Bay. And now Devontae Adams wants out, but
You could see my tears.
yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is this.
Dry tears on my face.
There is nothing wrong with. Here's the deal. When you give someone credit, you're not giving them half the money you've earned. Vince McMahon is the only reason why the Ultimate Warrior ever had anything in his life after the WWE.
True.
That's it. End of conversation. Vince McMahon is the only reason why Hulk Hogan is where he is. He's the only reason why Savage is where Savage was. Not that they weren't great. Minus Ultimate Warrior. But here's the deal.
Watching those old matches
but here's the deal.
Hard.
You are over because of this man. Even The Rock knows that he has everything because Vince McMahon gave his blessing to do it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Rock, Cena, even Triple H to a lesser degree because now he's in the family, they've at least given the credit to Vince. Yeah. They've acknowledged what Vince did for them, and that was the problem with Punk, was that Punk was one of those guys where he thought he was, and again, I'll say it, Punk thought he was bigger. And at the end of the day, it's like, that's fine to think, but you can't sit there and act like, Vince didn't put you on television. Everything still goes through him. At 70, 80-some years old, the man still produces 2 shows a week.
Let's pull back the curtains. Let's just get this out the way for the Punk fans because maybe you still don't understand it, and Philip has tried to clear this up as well. So the Summer of Punk thing where he was, quote-unquote, going to take the title and go to a different company.
Yeah.
People, he had already signed the contract. Otherwise, he wasn't going to win. He had signed the contracts 2 weeks before that pay-per-view. And so Vince was like, I'm going to run with this.
No, actually, what ended up happening was when he won at Money in the Bank, he actually did sign a 3-day extension to do the pay-per-view, and he hadn't re-signed.
I thought he had said so. We'll have to look at the interview, but I'm pretty sure he had said something like, I actually signed a week before, so that way me and Vince, and Triple H could work out how we were going to progress me not being on television, how that was going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
But Becky Lynch is a prime example of do something that Vince, because people are like, Vince ignores stuff. If he hears your reaction to it, because originally she was supposed to be a heel.
Yeah.
He heard your reaction and went, just run with this.
Can I just say this? And Jesse, you may break check me if you would like.
Okay.
Vince McMahon officially can never be called a racist because of the Kofi Kingston situation.
Well, no.
Because here's the deal. He didn't see a black man in the middle of a black-torn country, because that's what we were at the time. He saw a reaction at Elimination Chamber and said, okay, it's Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston could have been the whitest dude from Brooklyn, New York, and it still would have worked out.
It was originally the reaction on SmackDown during the
Gauntlet match
where he replaced Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
And then because for that thing they just went with this, they really only were going to run through that for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, exactly.
But he saw the reaction on SmackDown and then through the Elimination Chamber, and he was like, let's do something with this. And he asked Kofi, how would you like to go about this? Now, I know some of us got pissed, but in hindsight, it was actually great booking. When Kofi thought he was getting a championship match, but it ended up being Kevin Owens. But then he thought he was getting one.
Well, that was but that was the racist element coming into it, where people thought Vince was doing that. But in reality,
it was their story of them going like, wait, Kofi already got a shot. He didn't win.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole authority figure
Now,
thing.
I'm not saying Vince can never be considered racist again, but he's not racist. We've already mapped that out.
No.
But what I'm saying is that you people can't even insinuate it, because he looked at the situation, and again, he didn't. In my personal opinion, Vince McMahon has never seen his wrestlers as black. He's at least had to have been conscious of it, because he's still a businessman.
Yeah.
Probably the only real racist shit they've done was the whole Booker T thing. But even Booker will tell you that Booker was in on that.
Actually, the worst one he's ever done
was saying the N-word on television.
Saying the N-word on television.
Yes.
When he was the ECW champion for like 2 weeks.
He didn't say it during the ECW champion. He said it to John Cena backstage
before
all that happened. But the fact of the matter was this.
That was messed up.
But Jesse, while going back and watching the Booker Triple H thing was a little bit much.
It was rough.
But here's the deal. Booker was also in on it, and he wanted people to know what he had gone through to get there. So Triple H used what was there. And okay, it's interesting because we have a segment about two guys who are the most authentic thing in wrestling that's coming up here in a second. So I want to say that. There's nothing wrong with being authentic as long as the guy's okay with it. I'm not saying that if, and to use sort of the African-American sense here, not that a guy has to go Uncle Tom and be okay with whatever racist shit comes along, but I'm just saying if a guy is willing to put his past out there as a young African-American, because let's be honest, in that era of the United States, even though it's only been 20 years ago, that was kind of what people thought of African-Americans was criminal, justice system.
Yeah.
That's just fact. I'm not trying to put a racial.
And it wasn't a good thing.
No, it wasn't a good thing, but that's what it was. But the thing about it is that but the one thing you'll learn about Booker T if you read interviews outside of WWE television, he doesn't hide what he did.
No.
He doesn't hide who he was. There's no reason for him to do that.
No.
So the fact is that Vince McMahon is going to put you on television, and he's going to let you get over. And this whole notion of they don't want anyone to get over, no one's getting over because nobody's trying to get over.
I will say this. I don't think it's that no one's trying to get over. Is that it's a weird, the way their booking issue is there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yes.
But of course Vince takes most of the blame because he's at the top of the kitchen.
Yes.
So he's the guy who says yay or nay.
See, the thing about it is that Vince McMahon realizes one thing. You don't get to where you are without delegating a lot of duties.
Sure.
You might be the final decision guy, but here's the deal. If you're given two decisions and they're both crap, well, you got to make the best out of crap.
Like, I mean, listen, Nikki Ash works.
We'll get to that in a second.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, we'll get that. I mean, the live shows.
Anyway.
It's been like a week and a half, and you get to go Friday.
On Friday, yes.
To see it.
Yes.
I am so jealous. I'm hanging out with my cousins for the weekend, which will be great. But I think you'll have more fun.
A little bit.
I get to watch my cousins drink and be stupid.
I'm gonna try to.
That's entertaining.
We do have to be there, according to what Allison found out, around 5 o'clock. Because there's going to be some dark matches.
And I think they tape main event.
And no. Well, the thing is that if you think about it, the show's not till 7 local time.
Mm-hmm.
If we're there at 5, what are you going to do for 2 hours? You can't have 2 hours dark matches. They're going to film main event, which, and then they're going to have some dark matches. They're going to have SmackDown, and they're probably going to tape 205 Live afterwards anyway.
There's always like a dark main event or sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is this. Going back to the idea of just everything going on, and I forgot we were still in Rumorsville, I believe.
Where are we? I thought we got out of that.
I kind of took a audible.
Audible, yes. But the fact is this: wrestling is not what we want it to be, but it's what it has to be.
I think professional wrestling right now is at the best it's ever been because you have options. In the past, you didn't. You guys didn't have options the way we have options.
You were more
now.
localized television.
When I was really young, but my son's age, there was
because you grew up with the AWA, you grew up with Vince because you were in the Brooklyn area.
And then when I got older, getting towards high school and stuff, it was just WWE, and then when I got out, it was.
But again, if we go back to when we go back to kid stuff, for you it was AWA. For you it was Vince being in the New York area.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that when you look at the situation, when you got to high school, that's when Vince finally went public. That's when he went national.
Yeah, when I got to high school, they were national when I was a kid.
Oh,
okay.
In the 80s. But no, there was really no. It was Vince, and then these other ones, but I just saw WWE, nothing else.
Yeah.
Then when I got done with high school, then it was WCW and WWE.
Right.
And that battle was great. It was the two of them. But after that was done, it was just WWE.
So now I think we need to just.
And now it's.
Yeah. So now that
everything.
So now I think the best way to go is to use that segue that I was talking about, authenticity and all this other kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get away from WWE but come back because it's always fun to tease. But we gotta talk about this fight on the chicken farm because goddamn, ladies and gentlemen, live from Delaware, dem boys.
Come on, chicken.
They had a hell of a fight.
All right, chicken.
If you weren't watching ROH television and you missed it, the Brisco brothers, Mark and Jay, they've been in a sort of mini feud since the 500th episode of ROH.
Yes.
And Papa Brisco, who's probably one of the greatest potential human beings on the planet. For those of you that don't know, they are real brothers.
Yes, they are.
They are not direct descendants of the original Brisco brothers, but they're in the family.
Yeah.
So they're allowed to carry the Brisco name.
Yeah.
But the whole family basically lives on a giant compound out there in Delaware.
Chicken farm.
And they have a giant chicken farm. Because here's the deal. They don't make as much money in ROH as people think.
No.
So their day job is to spend time on the family chicken farm. So as Papa Brisco, who, by the way, folks, watch this just for him. Nothing against Mark and Jay. But my God, is he a character. He said they've been fighting since they were kids. Mm-hmm. They settle things and then they move on because that's what family does.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a fight on the chicken farm. Which, again, everyone's like, why are you so happy? This just sounds like one of those bullshit things that AEW is going to do that you always yell about. I'm like, here's the difference. This made sense.
Because it matches their character.
Because it doesn't match their character. It's who they are.
True. Well, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It matches everything about them.
Here's the thing. Everything about this match was there was one moment, and you're allowed one. There was one moment where everything in this match didn't have to do with a chicken farm. Other than that, 99.9% of this match were weapons you'd find on a chicken farm. They weren't using pristine tables from Home Depot.
No.
It was plywood they probably had lying around.
Yes.
The ring, you could tell, was one they'd set up in a hot garage. And then the one moment where they were fighting in the truck and then a table popped out and he goes, how convenient. I'm like, all right. You got me with one, boys. But, I mean, Jesse, this was stiff. This hurt. And it ended in the only way it should have ended. For those of you who don't know, Papa Brisco said, are you done yet? And I don't remember if they answered no or if they just shook their heads no. But this motherfucker, who's about as big as his boys.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
he picks them up. And this wasn't even like caving. See, in my opinion, this was one take.
Yeah.
I feel like this was all one take.
Maybe.
Just get two camera guys, one take.
I believe so, yeah.
He lifted these two big boys up. They were dead weight at this point. And he drugged their ass back to that dusty old ring.
Yes, he did.
And they kept, and again, it wasn't AEW, we've hit 8 Meltzer drivers, now we're back to fresh. It's not like we just got health packs back or whatever because we're video game nuts.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They were tired. They were beaten. They were battered. They were bruised. They were covered in dust. They looked like hell. They weren't bloody, but they looked like hell.
Dust
You could.
The chicken shit dust, probably.
No, this is from the dust on the actual farm because they were
the
outside.
actual farm,
I know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
It actually probably was some bird feed too, since they were in. I think they also went to the hen house a little bit. too.
they were outside one of the hen houses.
Well, I did when Jim was talking about he climbed up in that tree and everything.
Yeah.
He said it looked like he did that all the time. I was watching that going, seeing go doot, doot, doot. I'm like, oh crap, yeah, he knew exactly where
But
to go.
The thing about it is
Oh
that
my God.
this is an Elstein Rule Plus because you just got to go watch it because I can't describe it to you. You just have to watch it. But the ending was absolutely perfect because it was a war that devolved from a wrestling match. It started as a fight that became a wrestling match that devolved back into a fight.
Yeah.
And it ends with a simple clothesline, and it just ends with him saying, "You done now? You got it all out of your system there, boys?" Their dad is a character. I love Papa Brisco. Seriously, if he ever ends up at a show, I want his autograph. Sorry, boys. I want to pick with you, Daddy, because my God, is he something.
Listen. No, it was
authentic.
It was good.
It was real.
It was like two brothers. They really are brothers. They're mad at each other. They duke it out.
And remember.
And they're done.
And remember, he doesn't call them chicken as an insult. That's what he's called them since they were kids.
Yeah.
Chicken foo is what they grew up doing, man. Like, I mean, but it's just authenticity will always get you over. Now, okay, when you and I listened to Jim's review, Jim said something that I actually really, really love. When WWE came sniffing around, for whatever reason, WWE said no. Probably the best thing that ever happened to them.
Probably.
Because them as themselves,
I don't think Vince would have known what to do with that.
they're so over as themselves.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
They're so themselves.
Yeah.
And again, nobody like Nyla Rose set up a table that was going to be used in a later spot even though you weren't in the match. Nothing in this match except for the one table in the back of the truck, which again was just them being them.
Yeah. Oh, how convenient. Yeah.
This
so perfect.
This was just every weapon was something that would be needed on a chicken farm, that you would find on a chicken farm. The table they used looked like it'd been used for a family gathering about 17 times.
Yep. Oh yeah.
This is the type of scenario that I feel like when Leroy describes his family get-togethers, this is what I should expect from your family get-togethers. It seems like the Brisco family seems like a lot what your family's like when they get together.
Well, here's a funny thing.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I a little weight. I have a cousin a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
He was trying to he's probably about 6 foot and he's probably wide. He was trying to put on like one of my shirts or something really tight. Could barely get it down. It was like a second set of skin. He was drunk doing this.
Yeah, that sounds
And we
about
took
right.
pictures of him. We were like, Jerry. He's like, yeah. You know what he calls my son? He calls him Six. You know why he calls him Six?
Is it the sixth Is he the sixth kid to come out of you at this point?
No, he's the sixth kid, the sixth Britain.
Ah.
My mom and dad,
Yep.
1 and 2.
Yep.
My brother, my
Yep.
sister, me.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
All right.
He's
all
number
right,
6.
There you go.
So I'm like, oh,
So
God, that was
anyway,
funny as hell.
here's the deal.
I've really got nothing to add. Just go watch that chicken fight.
Oh,
man.
This is
That's
one
it.
of those times where all I
Watch
can
it.
tell you is watch it.
Just go see
because
it.
here's the deal. Since the day and again, these guys are still jealous because not only do I have the DVD, I'm on it. I got to watch them versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
That makes me good.
But anyway, no, folks. When it comes to the Briscoes, you can praise their work, but to describe what they did is just impossible.
You can't.
It is. I mean,
you just have to
I
You really
watch
can't.
them.
You just got to see it.
I didn't watch him very much, and then I saw him, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are just what the. And then I watched them wrestle in a regular match in ROH. I'm like, damn.
Now,
I
but now,
love it.
The breaking news over the evening that I was kept up to date because our own Gene was live in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, the new GCW World Champion,
Yes.
Matt Cardona. And if that wasn't an old school ECW reaction to something, I don't know what is.
They loved him.
They were so happy, Jesse. They were so excited.
He literally worked himself into a babyface in the match. That was pretty insane.
I had to watch that video a couple times. I'm like, wait. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow. You know what, Matt Cardona, I've given you shit for your AEW stuff. Your Impact stuff's been okay. But my God, sir, you are
Getting, once again.
I don't even... No,
well,
stop, don't. Leroy, don't. Nope, sorry. Nope. No can today. My hat's off to you, sir.
Right.
He has done his best work since being released. to me.
And to do it in that in that room.
That company.
In that room against the guy.
Yeah. Who we'll see in AEW in a couple
yes.
weeks.
The
unfortunately
MDK leader himself.
Yes, Nick Cage.
Nick Gage. My God, Matt.
Listen, Matt has been insanely impressive since leaving WWE.
I remember when Gene posted some of his own videos like towards the ending. Everyone who was in the group chat just started commenting, "Run!
For your safety, get out of the way.
I know you're a fan, but get out.
You are going to get destroyed. Get out the way."
I'm actually surprised they didn't kill Cardona. I'm legitimately surprised.
GCW shows are a whole nother experience.
I would, if I was seeing, I would have said, Gene, I am praying for you. You better get on your knees and pray
with
to
that,
your Lord and
Savior. It's a perfect transition into Jesse's preparedness from last week. Jesse, welcome to Jesse's segment, Chronicle of an Indie Wrestling Fan.
Okay.
Jesse, you, sir, are from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, I am.
One of the 4 boroughs?
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll tell me the best borough.
Awesome! To be honest, it might be the Bronx.
Really? Okay.
Might be the Boogie Down Bronx.
Because it's Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Brooklyn. Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
Yep.
So anyway, so you are from that area.
Yeah.
You have seen ECW in its originally.
Yes.
You have flown to the West Coast and seen Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yes.
What now? ROH.
I have also gotten to see how Ohio Valley Wrestling and its infancy back in the day.
Yes. Oh. Now, to you, the Indies were probably what I said last week when we chronicle this is, I would say the peak of the Indies was the explosion of social media, obviously, because they were able to post their shows. YouTube got bigger.
So I've kind of, when I went back and I thought about it and I kind of looked at when the videos started to get real popular that we all used to post, it would probably be between late 2008, early 2009.
So that's the thing, is that there used to be the tape trading, and then there was just video posting.
Well, because there was a lot of fan video posting.
Yeah.
Because we were recorded for ourselves, and then, because to be honest, like I said, I was an elitist back then. A lot of us were.
Yeah. Well, but again, there was a time, not to interrupt your segment there, but there was a time when being an indie person, it sort of meant something. It was a club.
It felt like our own community.
It was an MDK gang situation.
Yeah, because what it felt like back then when we used to go check out all these shows, travel. The only one I was never blessed to go see, which has been around for years, I forget our buddy's name, and the Pro Wrestling Lounge who does the work in Arizona. I was never actually able to see them.
Cactus League Wrestling.
Yeah, and they've actually been around for, I think, close to 13 years.
Yeah,
I've never been blessed to see them. I hope to go see them at some point.
There's also High Impact Wrestling.
Yes. And what was nice though is it didn't matter if you went to PWG. You went to
CZW was there.
CCW, Chikara.
Yeah.
It did not matter if Stardom sometimes showed up in Houston, and it was not even Houstonites that were down there. It was all of us assholes traveling to Texas being dicks for a week.
Yeah.
It was a community.
Yeah.
Like because we just loved pro wrestling, so we would go watch.
You guys were also the ones who kind of made wrestling into, okay, we're going to cheer for who we want, boo who we want. And that sort of trickled into WWE, and it became more fun to be the fans than it was to watch the show.
Yeah.
Now, while you guys also may have made it harder for people to make it in WWE,
probably.
I think what people don't understand is that you remember those guys you used to run with because you guys ran all over the country.
Yeah.
But now I guess I want you to chronicle those days, but I also want you to answer a question.
Okay.
What would have happened to the Bucks if they were in that era of indie wrestling?
So I can tell you this much about the Bucks. So they ended up because they were in very early PWG, like when I was still 13, something like that.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time they were in Impact in 2009.
But they
2010.
weren't.
Yeah.
But they weren't what you went to for
PWG
to see.
So PWG back in the day actually still looked like a WWE show, but it had a lot more fan involvement.
Yeah.
So like say if they had a hardcore match, and actually I was actually blessed to see very early Ricochet.
Yeah.
So like seeing him when he got signed to WWE,
that was
like
a big deal for you.
It almost made guys like us cry because like, man, our guy made it.
Yeah.
Like because this was always his dream was to get to WWE.
Yeah.
And what was really cool about going to those shows, so say they were going to have a hardcore match. Actually, I got the chance to meet Trevor Lee back then.
Nice.
So when he signed to NXT, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, he's going to be great in NXT, which, of course, to the moon, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Was the fact, so they
were
having
one of Impact's not worst mistakes, but weirdest
They screwed up. I don't know how they screwed the pooch on him, but so they would have hardcore matches.
Yeah.
But what they would do, funny enough, was as a fan, so sometimes the heel as a fan would yell at you to go under the ring to get the weapon, which he would take from you to hit the guy right in front of you. Or like say they would do a spot and miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes you didn't get warned. You just got taken out.
but
it was a fun fan community.
It was also an era where you guys weren't going to sue PWG because A, you knew PWG didn't have the money for the lawsuit,
and B, felt like we were a part of the show.
Well, not with that, but B, you went to the show at your own risk. You knew that. You accepted that.
We knew, like, dude, or Cassius back in the day. At any point, he could miss one of those turning elbows and clock the shit out of you. But you accepted that. Like, you were down. Like, dude, if he hits me today, I'm so fucking in.
Yeah.
That's why I made the joke about Joey. I'm like, listen, man, Joey wants to hit me with a chair. I'm all good with it. Like, that's what the kind of fans we were.
Right.
But
going back to the Bucks. But going back to the Bucks,
they wouldn't have survived during that time because so one of the big things we were against in WWE.
We also didn't understand the era that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but again to add context, the amount of talent that was in the main event of the indie scene at that time. That
Keith Lee was coming up in 2010.
That was your WWE main event 4 or 5 years later.
Yes. A young Seth Rollins, of course, when he was still going by Tyler Black. Like, these guys would come to
because he was Tyler Black pretty much his entire
his whole indie run.
Yeah.
And
I have a couple of DVDs of
yeah.
him.
Yeah, he by the way.
Thank you, Darren Corbin.
He used to do crazy shit like, because he was mostly heel in the indies. So he would do crazy shit like, they throw the guys into like a ring post and mush them. And what he would do sometimes, he would take your drink, take the cap off, drink some of it, splash some in your face, and then splash the rest in the dude's face and then chuck your cup at you. Like, there you go, you little bitch. And then he would throw a guy, you'd be like, what the hell? But it was so...
That happened to us.
Really?
Well, not that, no. Down in Bobsville, that happened a couple times.
Yeah, it happened a couple times. Funny bone, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
okay.
God,
It was so fun. Or, Big Cesaro once... He overswung a guy. He swung him to us. He was like, you guys okay? We were like, yeah. He was like, good, throw his ass back in. So we were like, ah! But it was a family. Or like when we went and saw Stardom, those ladies used to love to come wrestle in front of our fan base because we just treated them with love and respect. So they would come out. We'd give them high fives. They weren't used to the kill her chants and shit like that. But they kind of got used to it because for them, they're like, oh, okay, this is their way of cheering on a babyface. It's very weird, but they kind of understood it. I didn't get the chance to ever see Io Shirai when they would come.
Yeah.
Because that was a little later on.
Yeah.
But I also got the chance to see a young Candice LeRae. I don't think people realize back in those days, she actually used to sell out those shows.
Well, but that's what I said when she finally won that tag title is we had to end the show basically saying it finally happened.
Yes.
Because was there anyone more deserving in NXT, and I'm serious, of finally getting a belt than one of the hardest damn workers in the business?
The one thing I remember one time we kind of turned on a show a little bit at PWG because we thought she was deserving of being their world heavyweight champion. She had a match with Keith Lee. She was fucking phenomenal. Where he actually ended up being the heel. Because, of course, she was so tiny. Yeah. We were like, Keith, what are you doing, man? Like, you can't keep powerbombing her. Like, you're going to kill her. But, or she had the Cedric Alexander match you can actually go find on YouTube.
Yeah.
You actually might see my afro in the crowd. Like, when he gave her the lumbar check, we literally thought he broke her fucking back because she was so tiny. Or her own match against her, now hubby, where, like she put him in like a cross-face submission.
Yeah.
But she almost brought his neck all the way the fuck up. So when we were yelling tap to him, like you could see the crowd, like you could tell people who hadn't been there very often, like, oh my God, no, they're really telling him to tap to save his own life. Like, dude, tap! What are you doing? What are you doing? But it was a family.
Yeah.
And so even after the shows, like we bought the wrestlers food. We bought the wrestlers drinks if they wanted it. Like, we loved and respected them. We would have saw through the Young Bucks bullshit back then.
So okay. Okay, so then not trying to make you into the elitist once more, but but to make you into somebody who was there for that run of indie wrestling. What would that era of indie wrestling say to the Spot Monkey fan base these days?
So they would appreciate AEW for this one thing and this one thing only, giving guys like Orange Cassidy's been around for about 12 years.
Right.
It's really good to see.
And he's an architect, by the way. In his time off, he's he's an actual architect.
He's actually an incredibly smart human being. But like he's really deserving of that because back then he was just I think he was like a lover boy Cassidy guy. But he had really great, like, high-flying cruiserweight.
He was a
matches.
fire ants in Chikara.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just used to have, like, really great cruiserweight matches.
Yeah.
But he is a guy who ended up changing to this gimmick to try to get more popular.
Yeah.
Because he thought, like, and he's smart for thinking this, like, you know, this demographic, this one and the ones underneath us, there's like not really give a fuck kind of attitude. They're very blasé. Maybe I should turn that into a gimmick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, because at that point I had kind of gone back to WWE and I was even more into New Japan at that point.
Right.
I was just like, I don't get it. And now that I've seen it in AEW, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get why my guys who were still doing that at that point were in love with him when he changed that gimmick. Like, I get it. Why kids love the gimmick.
But it just
that was the only thing we would give that company credit for is giving guys like him a chance.
Because it seems like this audience, literally, I'm not even joking anymore, and I know Jim says it, and you know, even Jim uses it as a joke. I'm actually being serious. It's almost like these fans are paid to cheer for the same thing every week.
So I will tell you, us back then, I think most of us now would not go to if AEW was around back then, they would have gotten a lot of what WWE gotten, which was booze during terrible matches, where fans just didn't care.
Well, that's the other thing that people have to understand is that, look, I'm not saying that you have to...
we were a vocal bunch.
Right. but that's just my point, is that I feel like the audience that will constantly show up for AEW, when you just know something is slow and blatant and boring, you do nothing about it. You still cheer for nothing. You cheer for a forearm that looks like garbage. I'm serious. I'm not even trying to joke about that. That's not me picking something random out of the air.
Yeah.
They are up for 2 hours,
yeah.
which I wish was more WWE, but that's because I think that the audience is really down even when they shouldn't be, and that was the whole rolling thing with like this past weekend on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But my point is just like, you guys were a vocal bunch.
Yeah.
If you didn't like something, you told them.
Oh, we let the company know.
But that's my thing, is that I don't understand this audience, and someone's got to explain it to me, because it's like, you literally still cheer for what is just blatant garbage. For what is just blatant, utter, complete bullshit, and that's why the Bucks have no reason, even in their twisted minds, and I agree with it, to change. Because this audience is so into this.
And by the way, even back then, Kenny was doing hokey stuff, but Kenny back then never. So I saw Kenny once back then.
Yeah. Was this PWG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenny never did fucking 37 V triggers in matches back then. But this is why New Japan originally picked him up, and why we thought he was the best young wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
He actually went out to try to have technical matches back then. Now, knowing the background of all the stupid shit he said to legends is, I'm guessing why he is where he is now at 36 years old. But back then, he was actually trying to go out and have good technical matches. And yeah, like he had the Hadouken move, but it was his comeback special start.
Yes.
Or when he used to because he kind of used to do the kiss, good bang, good night.
Yeah.
But not with the good bang. He just like kiss, good night.
Yeah.
But that was him kind of doing like a Vince Vaughn thing or something he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I used to appreciate that because I'm like, okay, he's just trying something new. But the more you saw his matches, you're like, man, this kid's special. There's something about him.
Yeah.
There's something about him. And then, like, to see what he's become, that's why I get angry about Kenny Omega. Because I'm like, you should definitely be the best wrestler in the world, and you're not. Like, you've digressed in the last 3 years. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, he hit his level, and he thought he was at his level, and he's like, well,
No,
whatever.
I just think what ended up happening was that Kenny.
Or you just don't care anymore.
No. You know, I'm never going to accuse someone of not caring.
Like I said, I don't
I
think Kenny doesn't care, but I do think what happened was he really did embrace Japan. No problem.
Yeah.
Then why don't you embrace, because I'm like, if Okada decided, let me go try WWE for 2 years. I don't know if he would ever become WWE champion, but I can tell you if they put him with Paul Heyman as a manager, he'd be one of the most over guys you would ever see. Because the guy fucking gets pro wrestling.
Yeah.
He gets wrestling in different countries and understanding how to adjust. It's like Kenny didn't want to come back to America to fucking wrestle. So when I first heard that he was
New Japan over the last few years has had to move in a much more American style because they want to break into the American style. But what they realize is that the junior heavyweights are something. Not going to deny that. But there's something in their own bubble.
Yes.
You can't do that 17 nights in a row in America.
No.
Because, again, America, unlike the tiny island of Japan, America has opinions, and again, I'm not saying that Japanese are like one mind,
but
they're
usually. So I'll tell you guys that they're just insanely respectful.
Yes.
So when you don't hear them talk during matches, that's because they're giving the wrestler a chance to just perform.
But that's the cultural thing of it. But in America, there's the culture of the South. Yeah. There's the culture of the West Coast. Yes. There's the culture of, let's be honest, just the four boroughs have their own four cultures.
That is true.
I can tell you, it's the only reason Philly seems different is because Philly will call you every negative name in the book if they hate you.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, why is it called the city of brotherly love? But even in the Midwest, OVW, listen, if in Ohio Valley Wrestling, what I learned is that they don't like you. They will throw a beer at you because they've been drinking since 2 hours before the show started. They didn't give a shit. Yeah. They had nothing to do in Ohio before that show, apparently. No. So they were already drunk when they entered the door. So if they hated what they saw, they would not only let the wrestler know. Like, sometimes you would hear fans getting thrown out because they were yelling backstage.
Yeah, I do understand. I do live in Wisconsin.
Yeah. But the fact
nothing to do here.
There's nothing to do.
But the fact of the matter is that, look, I'm never going to say that Kenny doesn't care.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is I don't think Kenny cares about the fact that he's trying to get over in a place that he's not willing to understand that there's a different way to do this.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, the story of the Harley Race seminar, you're going to sit here and tell me Harley Race was never over in America? Because that's what you're saying to me, Kenny, when you tell me that his seminar with his trainers are saying you deserve to be in the beginner's class. You're telling me Harley Race was never over in America? That's what you're telling me. You're trying to... I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but your actions, which speak louder than your words.
We're so disrespectful.
You're telling me that Harley Race don't know nothing about pro wrestling. Harley Race, one of the toughest men to ever lace up a pair of boots, and that's not a tagline. That's real.
Can I do this real quick for
yeah.
those people who are like, for those people who will wonder why we got so mad about that story? Let me tell you what. I'm going to get Triple H and those kind of wrestlers out of it because, of course, Triple H took that class back in the late 80s, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get to some of the current wrestlers. Keith Lee. Keith Lee, who, by the way, tried out in WWE. They said no. Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, God rest his beautiful soul, and a few others are like, go talk to Harley, go hit the indie scene. You will get another chance. Yeah.
Well, but here's
William Regal also said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but here's the other thing that people have to realize,
yeah.
and this is probably why, since Keith Lee's re-debut, I guess we can call it, people wonder why he was gone for so long. Here's the deal. People are like, what makes Keith Lee special was his Evolve stuff. While, yes, that's true.
Kind of.
Vince wants you to make money for 10 years. He's already 36, 37. If you want to make money for another 8 years, that shit, you're not Rey Mysterio.
About to say, you can't do that.
You're not built for that. it gets you noticed, but once you get in the door, this is why I think Omos is going to have a long, productive career.
Probably.
Because even when you beat him, as long as they don't, because Vince has never done this to giants. As long as you find a way to beat the giant that makes sense in beating a giant, he's never going to lose his heat.
No.
But the thing about it is that Omos is going to work from day one like a giant. And that's what they wanted Keith Lee to do. But, again, what you did in NXT may have gotten you over in NXT, and it may have got. But when you get to the main roster, now it's time to make retirement money. Now it's time to make sure that your career is prolonged.
And my whole thing with Keith was like, by the time he got to NXT, he had to kind of learn most of that. Because he understood when he got to NXT. The only thing I need to freshen up and do a little bit better on it is what Shawn and Triple H worked with him with. It was just like, learn to do the wrestles and try to make them as entertaining as possible. You want to know why? Because now instead of you worrying about retiring at 40, we could probably get you to 50. You're going to make millions of fucking dollars. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's every now and then you can still be the big man flying, but do it specially. That's why the only time you really seen him do it is big moments.
Well, that's why Becky no longer does, unless it's one of those matches where she's so deep into her bag of tricks that like she has to pull it out. She doesn't do the whole straight fire, pump up thing anymore because that's not what the man gimmick is. But the man thing is going to propel her to $1 million spot. So I guess my thing is that again, I just feel like we got an era of wrestlers that the fans of your era didn't embrace. But the newer fans were so desperate to get away from WWE that it almost became like a brainwashing situation where here's the deal. I think AEW fans actually think that this is what pro wrestling was at its peak.
No.
When it was drawing 10 million people on basic cable access television. Back when Atlanta, that beautifully, wonderful, large city, was all of a sudden there were 10 million people in just the city of Atlanta watching local Atlanta territory television.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just I feel like the chronicles of the modern indie fan, you guys have actually become the WWE guys.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to think about because,
is.
like you said, at the time, the highest level for you was New Japan.
Because here was the thing. For us, back then, hearing John Cena might get you into a fight. Like, if someone was like, oh, man, I love to see that guy wrestle John Cena, you might end up in a fist fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much we hated the product.
Yeah.
But
now you look back at John's work, and
you respect him.
Yeah.
Because you get it now, but in the moment you were like, well, goddamn, you got all these.
Well, but the other
wrestlers.
thing about it is, and this is probably what I've been building to, and I'm just going to finally say it so that you can answer to it. It was never this gimmicky.
No,
there was still an athleticism to it.
There was still
Chucky
stories.
T was actually still good.
He's being wasted in AEW. I'll give you another name.
Okay.
I'll actually give you a number name. Who's
is there anybody before you go? Is there anybody from the Indies sort of back in that era that you were aware of? Like Leroy, was there anybody that you think came out of that you've been able to see grow? Is there anyone that you can think of off the top of your head?
Back then.
It was a lot harder probably for you to get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, there wasn't many indies then. It was AWA. I mean, seeing one, I remember seeing Hogan and Flair when they were really young, and when Hogan
became Hogan.
Hogan became Hogan, and when he won the belt with WWE.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And then Andre. I mean, those two right there.
Yeah, but again, another era where even Andre kind of had to slow down a little bit because he was going quick until Vince got a hold of him and all of a sudden
people
was like...
forget he was actually in Japan being an athletic fucking big guy.
Yeah. But Vince, again, he saves people from themselves. He's a businessman. He's agreed to work with you. Let's make as much money as we can together.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to make more because, let's be honest, he's got the TV studio. He's got the name recognition. Look, folks, stop acting like we're all Jeff Bezos. I know way too many people who are sitting there like, I could have done the same thing with Amazon. I'm like, if you were running Amazon, with all due respect, you'd still be a bookstore. You'd be successful, but you wouldn't be Amazon.com.
No. But I think back in my day, there wasn't as many small things.
Yeah.
You didn't have.
Well, but that was also
you didn't have the access like the internet and everything.
Yeah,
the veil was there.
The veil was still over the wrestling
if
business.
you saw,
You legitimately thought Roddy Piper was going to stab somebody in the parking lot.
Yeah, you see Roddy Piper. You see the Iron Sheik. He's fucking crazy anyway. Love him to death, but you see him. That's him.
Yeah.
Ivan Putski. You saw him.
Yeah.
Bruiser Brody. That was him. You didn't see him.
Matthew McConaughey's told the story on the Graham Norton show. He got thrown out of the Coliseum in Shreveport for throwing a bag of tomatoes at Admiral.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, sorry.
And then he snuck back in.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll send you the link. He was on the Graham Norton show with John Cena and Skandar Akbar.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. He got thrown out of the Coliseum in Shreveport, Louisiana for nailing Skandar Akbar with a bag of tomatoes.
And see, that's the thing about where we were back then. Is we almost reacted like you guys back in the territories. Like it was almost like our family was wrestling. Like.
Yeah, it is. And back then,
I just find it funny that you guys are the ones who grew up to actually appreciate WWE because now you see what the indies became.
Yeah, and as I grew up then,
which is why I think you love watching MAW because MAW is sort of that nice throwback to a combination of both.
You didn't see the good guys hanging out. You didn't see Hacksaw and Iron Sheik should never be in the same card together.
You guys,
now in our case, we knew that there was a kayfabe, and we knew that at some point they were leaving.
Well, but the difference is in your guys' era, you were able to separate the veil from the non-veil.
Like,
you were able to enjoy yourself for 2 hours. Boo the Leroy. You and I, that first night. We're the most hated two people in the entire building by Mr. Darren Corbin, and now we're
and his associate.
Yeah,
and they wanted to throw us out because we had a sign that my lovely daughter, I love Alice to death, and she helped me make it.
Yes,
where it said Darren Corbin is a crybaby.
And when they came to take the sign, I didn't try to steal it from them. I just let them take it because they had something to do with it.
They ripped it up. He rubbed it on his ass and threw it. And then I was honored, and so was my daughter Alice when I told her that. Is people in the crowd took part of the sign and took it home with them. I'm like, wow.
But then I'm
famous.
So like,
but then I contact Darren later on, and Darren's willing to work with us because he understands that there. But the thing about it is, folks. Okay, and
I mean to your guys' sign thing with Darren. Like we didn't bring signs back then.
Yeah.
But like, say if we back then,
if you threw,
or it's just a shirt.
If you threw a shoe.
Well, here's the thing. So say if you showed up to a show.
You throw a shoe? I can't believe you threw a shoe.
Yeah, exactly. Who throws a shoe?
So, I once showed up with an Undertaker shirt.
Yeah.
And apparently, and he's of course great now. He's in TNA. Mr. Eddie Edwards. I didn't even realize it was Eddie Edwards at the time.
Yeah.
Until I saw Eddie 3 years ago on TNA television.
Were they in the Wolves at that point, or was he just kind of his own thing?
I think that I had the badass Undertaker shirt.
Okay.
I think so. Okay. I can't remember the name of the group he was in.
Okay, yeah.
But he saw the shirt. He made me take off the shirt. He blow his snot. He was like, "Yeah, that guy's a badass." I was like, "Whoa!" But we didn't even get pissed. We were just like, "Yo, that was crazy." That was crazy.
But the thing about it is that
or Kevin Steen would literally if you had when he was a heel, if you had an empty cup. He would like sit there, open the cup, hawk a loogie, but go ahead, get another drink. You'd be like, well, yeah, not with that fucking cup, Kevin. Thanks.
Yeah. but I feel like that
Kevin would also go hug your children in front of you and be like, aren't I a better father? And the crowd would like, oh.
Kevin is also.
Kevin was great.
Kevin is also one of the probably 4 ringmaster fans you'll ever find in the world. But
there we go. Yes.
But anyway, but no, it's just I feel like
I cried. I cried when he won the Universal Championship because I remember being at those shows with him.
Yeah.
So I
still can't believe in Ride Along they allowed him to go to the old PWG. Yeah, really. That was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
but because we were just I remember I called my buddy Eddie who I used to travel with.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, did you see him win the championship? He's like, dude, I cried like a bitch in front of my wife for like 3 hours. He's like, I couldn't believe it. He's like, I never thought they would do it. I couldn't fucking believe it.
But now to my point here, I feel like the worst thing to happen to wrestling wasn't that the veil got removed. It's that we got an era of people, not you guys, but probably the era after you.
Yeah.
That they think that they're appreciating the product and removing themselves from it. But in reality, they're appreciating a product, but then shitting on the other one because it's... See, the problem is that they're posers. Yeah. You guys lived and breathed the indie scene.
We just, like I told people, while at the time we were probably WWE's biggest haters, it was just because we love pro wrestling, we thought they turned their backs on us.
When in reality, as you've gotten older and as you've seen the world change around you, you've accepted that Vince did what he had to.
Yeah. And that also at the fact, because as a lot of us then started getting to the overseas stuff, a lot of those guys started to travel to UK shows.
Yeah.
I started watching more New Japan and All Japan Pro.
Yeah. And
then for a lot of us, it was just like, okay, I think I get Vince now. And that's from watching, other countries because we were like, okay, I get it.
But okay, here's why Jesse's generation had to come around. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but this is my assumption. All those guys eventually went to work for Vince.
Yeah.
And you realize that, okay, not everyone can be the champion, but everyone has a spot in the card.
Yes. You
also remember New Japan changing their style and realizing they're trying to do what Vince, in my opinion, has always been 10 years ahead of the wrestling business.
Probably.
Now, has that worked for the wrestling fans? Probably not.
No.
But has it worked for the survival and the growth of his empire?
Absolutely.
Absolutely it has. So I feel like being with it was what you guys were, but now, and again, through no fault of your own, Vince is there, you're not.
Yeah.
Because PWG is not what you remember as much anymore. Chikara, sadly, is out of business for other reasons we won't get into.
Yeah, about to say. By the way, like I told people back, because people were asking me about those shows back. I'm like, listen, we didn't realize that guy was a piece of shit. He was incredibly friendly to us. We didn't realize that guy was a piece of trash.
Yeah. but the indies scene did not replenish
I'm not even saying his name, fuck him.
Right. The indies scene did not replenish itself to the level of when you lost those guys.
And
the Bucks got popular, and all of a sudden it was like, oh damn.
I think the biggest turn of the indie fan and why there's such a toxic base in pro wrestling now is that the poser thing is kind of one thing. Because really, we were pro wrestling fans, and we felt like because a lot of those guys also love TNA.
Yeah.
But they were like, especially when they started seeing Hogan come in, they're like, well, here we go with this bullshit. Like I've seen this story when I was a kid 10 years ago. I don't want to watch this shit again. Was like because we loved it so much.
Later, we found out that Hogan and Bischoff just realized Dixie Carter was going to pay them a lot of money to do nothing, basically.
I'd do it too.
Because then what we realized is we saw Seth go to NXT. We were like, oh. And then John for the guys who used to travel the East Coast and the South a lot. We're like, oh shit, John's in NXT, what? And then for myself, like while I was happy when Ricochet was finally in WWE, I was just like, I get it. Technically, this has always been their dreams to get to this point because it's the biggest wrestling company in the world. And I think where the change came for the fans now is I don't think they actually ever appreciated the wrestlers themselves like we did because we knew that they did it for the love of the show to go out and put on these shows, which is why when you guys asked me about going to MAW and stuff, I say yes because it's a reminder of me traveling like that and going to see those shows because you want to just support these people who put their bodies on the line to entertain you and understand that if they go to a WWE or something, you're happy for them. Like, man, I hope you get all the fucking success in the world.
Yeah.
But these fans today feel like they're owed something.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like we were owed anything. We were appreciative just to be a part of the show, which is why we bought their food, shit like that.
Yeah.
They feel like they're owed the world. And like I said, I don't know. It was screwed up as some of them used to be a part of that traveling group. And I don't know where that toxicity came from. So when I see it in chats, and when I started seeing it 6 years ago in chats, it even to my buddy Ed, it was such a damning thing because we were like, yeah, we hated what WWE had become, And, like, yeah, it might get you into a fight to think, like, John Cena should fight every indie guy. But, like, we would never turn you away from still watching a show.
Yeah.
We were happy you were there.
Yeah.
Well,
We would buy you a beer. We didn't care, you know?
I think that's how me and Zach are. I mean, to plug Dave's show in a couple weeks. MAW down in Stillwater, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Sunday night, we are going to be there.
Yeah.
And we're there to, I mean, I said, when we went to Bobsville, we were shaking hands and hugging all the guys there because we missed them.
Yeah.
We're going there to enjoy the show. We're going there to help them set that ring up, to take it down and do everything. And we're doing it not because we're getting paid. We're doing it because we love it.
But going back...
And actually, back then, a lot of the fans would help do that shit, too,
Yeah.
for the small indie promotions.
Yeah, but going back to this sense of entitlement,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to sort of... And while I 100% agree with you and was going with it myself, it's an interesting thing to realize that wrestling used to be a very popular thing.
Yeah.
Then it became sort of an anti-establishment style thing.
Yeah.
And then it... And now... It has once again mirrored real life in the sense that there is that, and again, this is not political, this is not societal, but it's true. There is a very entitled group in this world right now. There is an idea, and you know what? Fine. You know what? This is my political statement right here, and I don't care. In my opinion,
we do this every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. But this is my opinion. You want $15 an hour? Go work at a company for 5 years. Because here's the deal. If you're still getting paid minimum wage after even a year at a place, that's your fault, not theirs. You're the one dumb enough to let them do it. The fact of the matter is this. Nobody wants to work for something anymore, and I feel like this modern wrestling fans feel as though they just deserve the show that they want, and if they don't get it,
they shit on it.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact of the matter is
this weird toxicity of choosing sides.
And a prime example is the fact that the Bucks and Kenny, they do give them everything they want every night.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that, guys, the most successful shows in the history of just modern television, the most successful movies, sometimes you didn't like the ending.
They challenge you.
Yeah.
That's the best stuff is when it challenges you.
What?
So
everyone always thinks that life would be great if every moment of every day you got exactly what you wanted. I woke up this morning, thought everything was what I wanted, and then my mom broke both her damn elbows. Okay, that adds a wrinkle to my day.
Shit happens.
Now I got to readjust.
To be honest, if you get everything you want, the day actually becomes very boring every day. But I will say this. It's this weird thing. Because the worst part of the toxicity now is the choosing sides. Outside of our hate for what was going on in WWE, we never chose sides.
No.
Because then some of those guys who were in love with TNA, as soon as they brought Hogan in, and they were like, well, they fucked those guys. I'm done with them. Because they could see, once again, they saw through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, this isn't good.
And that's the thing. That the other problem that, let's be honest, we've chronicled on this show so many damn times. That's the thing about the Bucks and Kenny. It's all bullshit to them.
Yeah.
Your guys, your era of wrestlers, they weren't bullshitting when they were in PWG.
They were excellent wrestlers who put on great matches. And by the way, why we all still went back to WWE? Because it was still story-based. These guys are trying to prove to a guy like Vince, hey, you can pick me out in the crowd. I'm great. Because they were still putting on story-based wrestling. Still. They did a bit more in their matches. There weren't as many rest holds and stuff, but it was still story-based wrestling.
Well, but that was the other thing, was that when you've got a grenade spot by Mr. Chuck E. T., if you actually watch that match in its entirety, there's a break spot with the whole grenade thing, but it's not like a Young Bucks match where it's just, I can't follow this shit because we've just done 8 Meltzer drivers, 7 friggin' super kicks, and then a knee for what is supposed to be a 10 count but turns into a 38 count. And then 20 minutes later, it's and here's the thing: people get pissed that WWE ends all these matches with a roll up. The Young Bucks end the match after 8 Meltzer drivers, 38 seconds of knees, and fucking 18 super kicks, and then they win it with a friggin' super kick into a roll up.
Yeah.
They super kick it in a roll up versus they actually just roll up. So it's like same shit, but But every time they lose to the roll-up, at least the wrestler pops up like it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Now they're rolling you up after they basically just killed you with a fucking knife.
So that's why when
they stabbed you 8 times, but you're okay.
And like I said, I don't hate the other wrestling reviewing shows. It just, like I said, like I told people, like
I hate Meltzer.
The only
I don't know if
I have my.
That's a strong word to hate. I don't like him very much.
I just don't like him nowadays.
Yeah.
Because I know people used to think there was a very New Japan bias with him. Now I think it's something else going on with him. Like I think he has now gotten to a point where I think he hates wrestling fans, so he just terribly rates shit. But I will say this: it's also a weird thing in the sense of like they'll review a WWE show and be like, here goes another goddamn roll up, and I'm like, wait a minute though. You high praise AEW when I watch them have ridiculous after-match segments that don't make any fucking sense. You love those. They don't build anything.
The Dark Order. Okay. I'm pretty sure as of right now, the Dark Order is in about 4 different rivalries per show.
I think so.
And here's
I love the Dark Order, but some of it doesn't make sense.
It's not even like we split Stu and Uno over here,
no.
and then we split Silver over here, and then there's 2 random joggers.
No.
They're all in the same 4 segments.
So
they're all there.
It's one of those things where it's like it's the whole anti-WWE thing. Well, it says Vince doesn't like factions. We'll do factions. The problem is, I'm like, dude, it's everywhere. Everyone's doing too many things. Like, there's too much going on. Get a single focus. And so, like...
Now that's interesting because some people may ask you, because it brings up a point, well, Jesse's the same guy that sits there and says, well, there's all these factions in New Japan, but guys go off and do things. Yeah, but it makes fucking sense.
Here's the thing.
Well,
because I'll kill that for people right now. It makes sense because the factions don't involve themselves in every fucking match. When Bullet Club nowadays go out and beat someone up, it's because they were already like in a feud with them about something.
That or it's just one of those nights where Bad Luck Fale just doesn't care. He's going to wipe everybody off the damn mat, which happens.
Or he comes down to interfere, but a lot of the times if he does it, he actually gets put away, and then they still finish the match. So, like, he had his little bit of effect to give the heel a little bit of a boost. He goes away. Somehow, sometimes the babyface will still win. It actually still makes sense. Where, like... And so let's get to Fyter Fest. So in
night 2, night 2, Jesse.
In one of the worst fucking things in the show.
Yes.
So there's.
It's a great segue into that.
It's the only segue.
We're getting better at that every time.
I do not understand. This is why when someone's like, "Oh, so someone once said on Twitter recently, and it actually caused I accidentally caused a 100-comment chain on it. They were like, "Oh, so how can you tell me that AEW doesn't have the better women's division?" I'm like, one, did you actually finish watching the damn Nyla Rose and Britt Baker match? I'm like, number one, it went on too long. It should have ended after she found a way to get her down. Now, her kicking out the Beast Bomb, by the way, was the number one fucking error. No one's kicked out of that move yet, including Hikaru Shida. They had a ref bump that made sense so Hikaru Shida couldn't kick out that move.
What bothers me about these guys having these matches, before we even get into them, is, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 12 minutes, 8 minutes, 30 minutes. Why do you wait for the big show? No pun intended. No BS, I'm sorry. Why do you wait until your big name night to finally have 4-minute matches?
Yeah.
But on Dynamite, everything's 20 goddamn minutes. It's the same length of time.
Yeah.
It's not like Fyter Fest went for 3 hours.
No.
It's a 2-hour show.
Yes.
So anyway, let's get to this friggin' insanity.
So she kicks out of the Beast Bomb. I'm like, first off, what the fuck?
Now you've killed the Beast Bomb.
Now you've killed the Beast Bomb. There's no heat on that move.
No.
Because now anyone can just kick out.
And no offense to Britt Baker, but Britt Baker is not. Britt Baker, lovely young lady.
Yeah.
She doesn't physically come off like a Charlotte or a Rhea. So when she kicks out, it's like, a what?
So
okay, quick question. If Rhea kicks out of the Beast Bomb, Rhea Ripley is presented in a way where
she's presented as almost a monstrous woman.
Exactly.
So it would make sense. Like, well, damn, I guess it's okay that it didn't work on her because her physicality is so big. You know, it makes sense when she kicks out of moves like that. if she, like I told people, if she would have kicked, or she would have put her arm, because she did it too close to the ropes, put her arm on, perfect. Doesn't hurt the Beast Bomb. Nyla screwed up by having the power bomb too close to the ropes. Okay, no big deal. Why the fuck did Nyla Rose set up a table for no good goddamn reason and caused your own fucking loss somehow, some way? Like, what was the point of that? There was... Okay, so she kicked out of the Beast Bomb, which now hurts your Beast Bomb, whatever. Because Nyla's been putting in her best work the last 7 months. She's been phenomenal.
Oh, but hold on, Jesse. The excuse from the AEW apologists will be, this was the second longest match outside of the main event, so the women got to shine. No, you didn't.
I don't want to hear that from them, because then they go, well, what was that on Raw? I'm like, wait a minute. They main evented! They main evented and gave Nikki one hell of a spot.
Can I also point something out?
No kidding.
I actually had to eat some words because it's weird that it was the end of the supposed feud, but Charlotte and Rhea, that was the best match they'd had.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's weird. Everybody says, well, how is it better than the Money in the Bank? Because here's the deal. Money in the Bank was big and a great match for the night it was supposed to be.
Yes.
But on a random Raw,
yeah,
they told the story perfectly until Nikki got involved. So it's like, here's the deal. Arguably, within 48 hours, they had the two best matches, arguably, of anyone. And they finally found the chemistry that we'd all been looking for.
Yeah.
It's like right when we start to criticize the chemistry, they find it again. It was insanity.
Yeah, it's like...
But anyway, Chris Jericho defeated Shawn Spears in the first of the trials of Jericho.
What's the point of the Trials of Jericho?
Here's the deal. For some strange reason, once again, we are running with this, and we're not even making it part of his gimmick, but we're running with this idea that MJF will only fight someone if they go through like 16 fucking stages of something.
He's 24! He's 24 years old. He can wrestle. Just put him on the goddamn show to wrestle.
So let me get this straight. I can get the best friends booked terribly. Nothing against them. I can get the best friends booked terribly. I can get Riho at her lowest booking. I can get that 14 weeks in a row. But I get FTR once every 6 months, and I get just MJF 2 minutes every week.
We did this.
There we go.
We did this your first year with Cody.
Yep.
What are we doing?
The same thing.
So you want to tell me WWE does the same thing and we're not doing the same thing here? But hey, you know what? Mr. COVID himself is okay with it.
Well, yeah, they're like, well, we did this last year and it worked. Let's do it again.
Mr. COVID himself, apparently, by the way, you had a great show at Rockfest. Good for you.
Also, as far as I'm concerned, this whole crap, and this was a surprise that nobody cared about at TNT, which means it would have been great for your crowd. Why did you have to tell MJF, because I'm sure they told him, why did you have to tell him to say Nick Gage's name? All you had to do with that giant fucking screen you're paying for was put MDK. All you needed. And that place would have blown the damn roof off. But you got to sit there and you got to kill it by having MJF give a... And once again, yes, we'll talk about getting, stabbing someone. Whatever. Here's the deal. That audience does not need to be explained who Nick Gage is.
They know who he is.
They know who Nick Gage is.
They know
who
he is.
So here's the deal. You want to pop from that crowd, you just have MJF say everything except his name, and then you just put MDK on the screen. That's all you got to do. That's it. You do that, that crowd pops 10 times harder than they did.
Yes.
Saying his name actually
By the
hurt
way,
it.
before I even get into the next match after that, let's finally talk about this AEW, because while there are some matches we're going to differ on, I actually thought were good, and some of the stories were good. Your production is horseshit. How the fuck do you have that screen? So there was a thing later on where Andrade is coming out to cut a promo.
Yes.
I counted. It took them fucking 12 seconds to finally get his video on stage as he's coming out.
Yep.
Your production is horseshit.
Here's the deal. We gave you a credit for night one because it turns out the whole blinky light thing was because Malachi Black was coming in.
Yeah.
But you're having real technical difficulties the week after. How are you not figuring this out?
Back asswards.
But with them, it's constant. Remember, Britt Baker comes out. She comes. So somebody told me about this, and I'm like, holy shit! I didn't even notice it night one when she came out to do her promo. Her fucking video was still playing as she's doing the promo with Tony Schiavone. I didn't even notice it.
People. Here's the deal. People give me crap because I notice these things, but that's how I watch wrestling.
I'm like, that's insane. How can you not get the video off the damn screen?
But here's the deal. Jesse's reaction, Leroy, I'm looking at you. Jesse's reaction, this is what I'm talking about. It's an eyesore. Whether you acknowledge it or not, it's an eyesore.
It's insane. Okay, by the way, you're not trying to be WWE. Now all of a sudden you guys have a middle screen that you use? When did you start doing that? Why did you start doing that? But you're not WWE. Okay, let's get into the next match.
The next match.
All right.
Doc Gallows versus Frankie Kazarian. It was 7 minutes of why do I care?
Here's the problem.
It was bad.
Here's the problem.
Yeah. It wasn't bad because, okay, first of all, both guys can go.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So
But
I will say this.
But the problem is, it was flat. It was flatter than hell.
Here's what I'll say about this. I feel fucking horrible for Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah.
This is a good match. This is actually a good match. It's a very good match.
You also broke up a really good tag team for this, by the way.
But you not only did you break up a good tag team, but now he's included in all this elite bullshit. Because it's bullshit.
Just to be a sacrificial lamb in the end.
So, by the way, this is the first time the Dark Order pop up to save somebody. Because then Hangman Page tries to come out to save Frank Kazarian because they're furthering, of course, the fact that Hangman Page is going to face Kenny at some point for that championship because they have the big tag match this week. And so, by the way, for the first time and forever, and maybe it's because I didn't notice that I didn't see their loud-ass outfits, the Young Bucks were not on this fucking show. So that was nice. With their super kick party music that I now hate.
They weren't on the show?
They weren't on the show.
That wasn't a problem. Executive decision, night off.
You know what's sad? It was also one of their best numbers they've ever done.
Yeah. Without the damn Young Bucks.
Without the Bucks.
Good match.
Hint, AEW.
At their birth, that doesn't make any sense because this is the first time now the Dark Order comes out. Now, for this, it would make sense because Hangman is, while he's not in the group technically,
right.
They are technically doing an angle still where he's their friend. No problem if this is the only time they come out. Plus, they're a part of the match where hopefully Stu and what's the name are going to get,
Uno.
Thank you, Evil Uno are going to get the tag title shot that they actually rightfully deserve. But that's the first time they fucking come out.
All right, next was a match that was only existing so we could see a segment that is beneath the Icon Sting. While it came off as actually maybe more entertaining, but no. Here's the deal. Hated the segment, loved the commentary. Commentary sold this for me. They were good. They were good. I loved it. But here's the deal. This was a match between two guys who I kind of wanted to actually see go longer than 4 minutes.
That was my negative.
But this
was you had a chance to, by the way, a guy that they keep saying and putting out that they're really high on. And by the way, he puts on really good matches, Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
Who they've now, because unfortunately Trent has now a spinal stenosis or something. I hope his career is not over, but I'm starting to fear it because now these major injuries are starting to become a concern for him. And it's a damn shame because, like I said, he's our generation's edge. Like the younger generation's edge, and I don't think he'll ever get the chance to be that because he just keeps having all these terrible injuries.
Yeah.
But you have a chance with Darby Allin, who puts on great matches. These two babyface people.
He sells like death, and
yes.
and there's no pun intended there.
Wheeler Yuta is actually a really good young technical wrestler, and the focus should not be on Orange Cassidy and Sting in this. But guess what the focus was on? Orange Cassidy.
There are segments that lead to a match. I'm serious. I actually cannot think of a match that led to a segment in 4 minutes.
That's what this all was. But I'm like, but you guys are supposed to be building your own young stars. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Off of the backs of all these WWE guys.
But we're building Cassidy. This didn't build Cassidy. This was Cassidy's same shit he does every week.
Because Cassidy's back later in the night.
Yep.
So you didn't even need this segment.
Nope.
Because guess what happens after the match?
They can make a meme out of that.
He gets punched by the brass knucks again.
Yep.
Next.
All right. We've already talked about it. It was Jesse's favorite, air quote, match of the night.
By the way, I want to say Bleacher Report, who is probably technically paid by them to put out their own results because remember they give them the backstage notes.
Yeah.
You know what they gave this match because of everything that happened? They gave it a fucking D. Bleacher Report hated this match, the Women's Championship match, as we get off of it. Just to let you guys know that. The reporters that you pay to kind of put out the backstage notes, even they were like, fucking hated everything at the end.
The match sucked.
That's great, guys. Well, no, the match was great. They just ruined everything because of the ending.
Yeah.
Like, you ruined everything. Even they were like, oh, this was terrible.
Moving on. It is time for Orange Cassidy number 2 segment of the night.
So
this time with Chris Statlander.
You know, before we do the Orange Cassidy thing, this is the Andrade interview.
Yes.
So Chavo Guerrero is now his executive consultant. I have a feeling what they're doing in AEW right now is another fucking faction.
Yep.
So because basically
it's a Latino faction.
Might as well.
Probably. Because he called.
We've got Cult. We've got Virgins. We've got the Virgins are the elite. In case anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
We've got a Cult. We've got Virgin
That
Republicans. We've got
not happy with the Virgins.
We've got apparently Tarzan mixed with Jurassic Park. Still don't know what that's about. We've got.
Oh, by the way, I want to let everyone know that I'm still right. Where did he go after he lost to Kenny? Right back to the fucking tag division.
We've got a wrestler whose wife does more talking on Twitter than he does in a suit. And then we've also got an old deathmatch legend who just sits in the crowd with a guy in a mask. We've also got the Dark Elevation crew, which is weird because Dark Elevation and just AEW Dark are now 2 apparently different factions.
Yeah.
We've also got the group of people who are literally just paid wrestlers to sit in the stands. And then there's the fans who are their own unique thing. So, cult, Virgin Republicans, I don't know, I don't care, who cares, and the people paying for this. Anyway.
By the way, fucked up the whole Chavo Guerrero coming out thing for me.
Yep.
Because as soon as Chavo started speaking and cutting the promo, I'm like, this is another fucking faction they're going to build. Great.
Now, on to Orange Cassidy with Chris Statlander. Defeating the Blade with the Bunny, but also, let me point something out, ignoring the fact that he was just messing around with Sting. Now we're just going to go, again, this is like 8 weeks of Mid-South television being thrown into a 2-hour segment. Because see, Mid-South, at least from my perspective, they were great wrestling, and there was a lot of great talent down there, but there were times where over the course of 2 weeks, a lot of stuff would get lost. I think that's because they were such a large territory at the time.
Yeah.
But this is literally like Mid-South had 8 weeks of television, and they're like, we're going to cram all 8 weeks into a 2-hour show. Because here's the deal. There is absolutely, under no circumstances, any way on this planet you can cram 8 weeks of television into 2 hours. You can't do it. It's not possible. Something's got to get left out.
Yeah.
We're not.
You know how
this was like Orange Cassidy had the thing with Sting, had a segment with Sting for a month, and then all of a sudden he's back with Chris Statlander, and it's just like, where did Sting go? Where did Darby go? Let's just totally forget about it.
You know how they did it? A lot of lube.
There ain't enough lube in the world for this.
Not for this. This is
really?
this is.
Then all the lube is gone.
This was also just a bad match for Cassidy and the Blade.
This was a terrible. This was not a good match.
And this was twice as long as Yuta versus friggin' Darby.
I saw that.
This was twice as long.
Like so the kid you supposedly love, you only gave 4 minutes to, with a guy who could have built the shit out of him in Darby Allin.
Yep.
But you gave this 8 minutes. It was fucking horrible. You didn't help Orange Cassidy at all.
This actually
Blade is going back to the tag division when his partner gets back.
This actually killed Orange Cassidy's momentum from earlier in the night. This actually made their own audience go flat.
Sting killed that because that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Kick, stand next to her.
And now we're skipping the rest of it because again it was that bad to a Texas death match, which is the second Texas death match these two have had. This one just wasn't. Was it in Japan or was it in the American shows?
This was actually at AEW. This was there.
No, Jesse. The first Texas death match between.
Oh, the first technical one was in Japan.
Was that in Japan?
Was
it in New Japan in America?
No, that was in New Japan.
Got it. Okay. So here's the deal. Why did Lance Archer win this title on a different show? Is New Japan so desperate to get into the American market that they want to be seen on an American show?
I got to be honest.
This
This confused me. So here's why.
Also, before you get here,
Yeah.
John Moxley, how dare you once again run from Yano? How dare you run from Yano?
You son of a bitch! You owe him a title shot. You know Yano deserves a title shot. I agree with Zach. You give him the title
king
shot.
of wrestling, Toru Yano, deserves this chance. The champion America deserves.
Dang right.
Toru, would you?
Our basketball team just lost to France. We need Yano.
We need Yano.
We
right
need
now.
Yano.
We need that video. We need it all from Yano right now.
We need a lot of shit. Yeah, when I saw
Hold
that.
on. Before we transition
Okay.
and we leave him in the past, we must say what we do on this show.
Yes.
Yano, please never change.
Never change.
Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, so back to this death match that was once again.
It surprised me when I saw that he lost and Lance won the title. I was like,
Jesse,
what?
does this not hurt New Japan?
So here's the thing. It doesn't, because Lance is a good champion. Lance should be probably the AEW World Champion, but this company can't fucking figure anything out.
Well, at least he got a good title.
You know what's the saddest part? When the Elite finally decide that they're done with this, what's going to happen to AEW? You think they're going to stick around and be bookers when they're finally done with this? You think they're going to stick around?
Rumbling, tumbling,
Just take it.
tumbleweeds going down the aisle.
So the only thing that I can assume
Yes.
is that because John has told both companies he wanted to take time off to spin
With the baby,
Renee
yeah.
and the newborn baby.
Speaking of which, Jesse, when is John going to spend this whole year in Japan thing?
I don't even fucking know anymore.
When is this going to happen?
But
It might not happen.
I will say this. In about a month, I'm going to be tired of the whole newborn baby thing, and I'm going to come at John on Twitter because you said that shit to everyone. You told everyone, hey, at some point I would like to go back over, because he was doing some of his best work over there. He said, I want to go back over there and work for a full year. Now there's a chance you can actually have that match in New Japan with Bryan Danielson. I guess I don't have to call him Daniel Bryan anymore.
No.
And when the fuck are you going to go back? I get it. You should go spend time with the wife and the newborn, but you should. I have when Seth took the time off, no problem. You know, like I get it when guys do that.
Well, but Seth also took like 3 weeks off.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he was basically back.
It's not like Seth went home for 6 months. Seth just took 3. And besides, he went home to the baby every night anyway.
True, that's true.
It's not like Seth took actual time off.
true.
So away from the show that everyone told us was the better of the two, to maybe one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in...
You said that was the best.
Not me. A bunch of people said Fyter
saying?
Fest was better than Money in the Bank, but we're about to show why. Ladies and gentlemen, this show from top to bottom was phenomenal.
Stop. People said this was better than Money in the Bank.
That's what you say, yeah.
Can you write this down for next week on top of the Cody?
All right. Next topic.
Are you ready?
If only thank God you typed this, because your handwriting's atrocious.
Hey, my handwriting's so good I could be a doctor. And Joanne tells me you would never write on.
You know what, guys? We might have to have a discussion about maybe going live with this.
Okay.
What has happened to wrestling fans? Because that is such a ridiculous statement.
You also realize that the lowest rated match on Money in the Bank was one of my favorite matches, and I think sadly, because of the ending, it took away probably 2 stars that it deserved. Dave Meltzer gave the women's Money in the Bank match a 2.
Dude, he gave the fucking men's like a 2.5.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dave.
How about that? That's
Does that work?
Perfect.
Okay.
Did you see what I wrote?
Perfect.
Yeah.
We got 2 segments left because just like we did for the lovely Miss LeRae, we have to do this for our lovely ASH.
Yes.
We got 2 segments left, but ladies and gentlemen, do you have the results for us, sir?
For Money in the Bank?
Yes, Money in the Bank. Which, by the way, this might have been the best pay-per-view they've done since COVID started. This was from top to bottom. This was smooth.
I will say this:
I loved it.
for American television, the best 2 pay-per-views now I have seen recently is Slammiversary and Money in the Bank.
There we go.
And it's not even close.
All right. So
Slammiversary from top to bottom.
So good.
But anyway, Leroy, what do you got for us?
Bless you.
Sorry, sneeze there. And these kids, I don't know.
I think you were blessed with such a great show that you had to sneeze, brother.
There you go. Yes. All right. On the pre-show,
yes,
we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match where the Usos got the gold.
You know what I loved about this?
This
What's
match
that?
Is the fact that this man had to go to the pro lounge and was already like, shit, Jesse might have predicted the show to us already.
I know. But I could see this
Like
coming.
when I saw my name come up and saw the comments, I'm like, yeah, I guess I did predict that, didn't I?
I did see this
You had
coming.
a hell of a night with predictions.
I really did.
You really did.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
I did see this coming.
Hell of a match.
Yeah.
Loved it. Elstein rule, in my opinion, because this was just good.
By the way, this has been a really good feud between
This
the
this was actually one of Dominic's best matches.
Yeah.
Oh, he
he
looked-
actually showed up and
He
showed
looked
out.
great.
It's amazing how good he's been in front of fans.
It really has
yes.
been.
I was nervous for him, but he's been so damn good. I'm like, well, I guess it runs in the bloodline. Not to
Maybe he
take away
needed
from
the
Roman,
fans.
but
But yeah, now
He's a Guerrero.
yeah, he's a
There
damn
we go,
Guerrero.
yeah.
I shouldn't be shocked at this.
He's a Guerrero.
and at that point,
He's
the
a natural.
family on SmackDown has all the gold,
Yes.
Well,
except for one title.
there's
But
one.
Hey,
We're getting there.
we'll get the
We're
tag
almost
team,
there.
we'll get
There's
the-
two.
That's true.
All right.
And I will just say this as you kind of get into the rest of the card.
Yeah.
Naomi has been traded to SmackDown, so we will see what happens in the coming weeks.
What? The
Yes.
Oh, that,
Naomi
that
has
might-
now officially been traded to SmackDown. Yes.
So Naomi is a SmackDown women's superstar now.
Yes.
Of course, married to who? Jimmy Uso.
All right.
And-
Crazy.
Well,
All right.
Well, no. Okay. To be fair, and I don't think this is fair to Naomi because she was really hot in that Raw division.
Yes, she was.
Jimmy needs a driver for 6 months. But anyway.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's for certain.
That's true.
That's
That'd
for
be good
certain.
for him.
That's for certain.
Keep
His
him
license
on-
is suspended. We need
He'll
to
never
keep
get
him
a
a driver
license
out.
again.
keep him
Not
on
in the
his
state of
toes.
Florida.
All right. The first match of the night was the women's Money in the Bank.
Was this not better than a 2-star match?
This was like a 4-star match.
In my personal opinion, and you know what's weird? I actually liked the ending.
Yeah.
Because what do superheroes do? They persevere through the chaos, and through the chaos, our wonderful superhero in training, our wonderful almost a superhero Nikki Ash, persevered through the chaos.
Crawled up everybody's
And I'm surprised.
backs
And as soon
got
as
them.
it happened, I was like, "All right, I'm okay with
It was
this."
so funny because when she grabbed it, I was like, oh, wow, we're doing this.
All right, we're doing this.
We're doing this.
I was okay with that.
I love this match. So the first story was them going, what the fuck is Alexa Bliss doing the whole match?
I know she's just standing there.
She's skipping. She's looking at them like,
She didn't move from the moment she came out.
Yeah.
Just stood there. That actually got me a little creeped out for a second.
because
I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, wait, is she just gonna voodoo her way into this shit? Because remember they had the Lily kind of graphic. I'm like,
Yeah.
is Lily gonna fucking show up and take this thing tonight?
Here's the thing. The best part about Alexa Bliss in this situation was it was the perfect example of her being, creepy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there wasn't like a mix of like the supernatural.
No.
So, but also. Alexa took the hardest bumps in this match.
Yes,
She's the
she
smallest
did.
competitor by
Yes,
half a
she
person
did.
in this match.
She's
and
still
then
one
get
of the
buried with ladders.
I thought
That was the other thing. You buried the smallest. Normally, you buried the biggest
Yeah.
competitor, which would have been Tamina. But no, you bury somebody who isn't even as big as the smallest stepladder in the match, and you buried her under every single ladder they could find.
Hey,
And then of course the other story was,
you know, big things come in small packages.
and of course the other
that
two
true?
stories, of course, were, and the one that I loved the most, and I think they're gonna do gangbusters for her on SmackDown, is like the Liv Morgan story. She's doing the best all match, so close each time, and at the end, all of them just forgot. Just pay attention.
Yep.
And like after the match is over, like
Alexa was in there just enough
Yes.
for her gimmick.
yes.
Nikki persevered for her gimmick.
The tag champs actually did what they were supposed to do, which was get in everyone's way and dominate.
The only spot in the match I had a problem with was Natty and Liv tug of war.
It was weird.
Bit too long. I don't mind the spot. It was just drawn.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
the only question
Yeah.
I kind of had with that.
But the Liv Morgan stuff I thought was phenomenal.
I honestly don't think any woman looked bad in this match.
No, they all look great. I enjoyed it and so happy for Nikki. Me and the kids we're all excited for.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you said that you were with the kids because I was really afraid you were watching this match without pants on. But anyway, I digress.
I make sure to share my joy and love of wrestling with the kids.
I'm glad you.
They when
I'm
I
glad
told
you
them,
clarified.
I said, hey,
Anyway.
I tell them, hey, pay-per-view tonight. They're like, yeah.
Yep. Next
They're
match.
all in. All right. It is.
By the way, Dave Meltzer, take your 2 stars and shove them up your ass.
Now, he might like that.
Dude, his
too.
rankings of Slammiversary were horrible.
Yeah, he sucks.
I have nothing good to say about that man anymore, so let's move on to the next match.
All right, we
I
got
used to respect
the
him.
Raw Tag Team Championship where AJ almost defeated the Viking Raiders.
Again,
6-10.
AJ does what AJ's supposed to do, which is entertain the AEW side of the WWE audience,
There you
and
go.
then almost comes in and is like, "Oh wait, he's
I'm gonna
7
kill you."
foot something, 250."
He's like
Plus-
360
Yeah,
pounds.
exactly.
Yeah.
He shows up and he does
But
what he's supposed
I will say this
to
about
do.
this match and why I thought this match was excellent. When you give the Viking Raiders time, you get excellence.
Oh, yes.
So, yes, everyone knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah.
But even though it almost does what he's supposed to do, you still give this team a chance.
The Raiders were the MVPs. Don't get me
They
wrong.
were excellent.
Such a good match.
excellent.
It's a good 12-minute match, almost
Yeah.
13. So yeah.
And they're gonna do this. They're gonna do. I think the tag titles tomorrow night on Raw.
But here's the deal. But here's the deal.
I
Here's the deal.
think so.
I actually want to see this again.
Because here's the interesting story. And I think the commentary alluded to it. Because at some point, when does Omos go? Maybe I don't need AJ. Like, is it the moment they lose the tag titles?
When does the ego go up?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Next, we have the WWE Championship match where Bobby killed Kofi.
I told you.
He won by
so.
technical submission.
I also tagged you in this. Too. I did tag you
So
in this.
as I was saying, people, before last week, before Money in the Bank, I said, I'm like, something about Raw tells me Bobby's gonna fucking annihilate
But
him.
here's the deal.
But it did not make Kofi look bad because he got some offense at first.
No. Because here's the thing. Once again, Kofi can sell sympathy,
yes.
and Bobby needed to be built back up for what he eventually will be doing, which we'll talk about next week because, like I said, one more segment, and the last segment must go to the person we'll get to in a second. But anyway,
Okay.
so like I was saying, no, this was perfect because Kofi, once again, is one of those guys who acknowledges, yeah, I'm lucky I got the world title, but I'm proud that I got it. Now let's do what's best for the show, and he's always been a great team player.
course.
And Bobby once again showed everybody, I'm not just a physical specimen. I will actually hurt someone.
Which is why people I just want to get this out the way. In my opinion, Keith Lee was not buried. He came out, had a great match with the world champion, but in the end got dominated. There was a reason that they did that. It showed, listen, we're still very high on Keith Lee, but there is something big we have to do at SummerSlam with Bobby, and we need Bobby to look dominating for it. It just makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
And then the dragon showed up. But anyway,
So Claire was blowing for Kofi, and she was a little upset that he didn't.
a little
win.
bit, yeah.
But hey, that's all right.
But it makes Bobby a much bigger heel, doesn't it?
Both guys not only got your attention on television for a month, but they both just did a great job of the show.
And like I said, after Raw, that's why I was like, I think Bobby's going to annihilate him.
Yeah.
All right.
But it'll be better than what happened with him and Brock. So go ahead.
It was longer.
Oh yeah. All right.
That's about all I can say.
And we have highlighted this already, but Charlotte and Rhea for the Raw Championship, where Charlotte did defeat Rhea.
You know,
with
this
a
is the
submission.
moment I have to look at Jesse, and I have to kind of make you, sir, apologize to the WWE.
I wish you guys could see my face live about the face I just gave him. But
because
continue.
Jesse,
apologize for what?
Jesse, you were the one who went so off when Rhea and Charlotte ended with the announce table.
Oh, I'm about to go off again. Are you ready?
But hold on.
Okay.
This match made and anyone in that live crowd, if they tell me otherwise, they're lying to me. This made everyone forget about anything that had happened leading up to it.
Oh, I didn't. You want to know why?
Why's that?
You want to know why?
Why's that?
Because Charlotte's his favorite. Deep breath.
How does she not get this DQ'd? What she did was worse.
It was just a ring step.
What she did was worse. She literally got her foot stuck in there.
Now Allison
and then
said
she
that,
stopped the goddamn leg.
Now
that
Allison
usually gets
said
you
the same.
disqualified.
Now Allison said the same. But remember, if you don't remove the steps from the ring post,
Somebody removed Charlotte's glove from my ass, so I do not have to do this with her because I want to love her. I really do. But what was this?
Don't put glow in your ass. It's not good
Oh
for you.
my! This is the thing
Even
I
the
hated
president,
the most.
former president, would say it's a good thing for you.
Because remember what I said in the predictions was just put the damn thing on Charlotte so I can move on.
right?
Now I didn't know what was coming Monday night.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just put this damn thing on Charlotte so we can move on. Because I'm like, wait a minute. Charlotte did that. Charlotte literally did the same thing Rhea did to get disqualified and didn't get disqualified. I'm like, guys, you guys are telling the story all fucking backwards.
I agree.
It has never made sense to me.
Yep. It was
But congratulations to the Queen for 24 hours because that felt good.
I will say this though, just
That felt real good.
before we get to the end of the show, because again, this person deserves to end the show. What Charlotte said afterwards was actually made a little sense. Yeah, maybe you pulled the woman versus man card, but it did make sense. Nobody questioned when John Cena was in the main event for 15 straight years. So why do we have such a problem that Charlotte's getting the place that she's actually rightfully deserving?
Well, here's the thing though. He still had a ton of backlash. Because it felt like he was given the Triple H golden shovel for so long.
And I understand that. But, I understand that. But at the same time,
like I said, the biggest thing John Cena, and he's kind of addressed the Nexus thing.
Yeah.
But it will always haunt his fucking career
when he just
because
ran
he should have
through
lost.
the Nexus,
Because he should have lost the damn match.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. He knows.
But the thing about it is that folks. I'm the last person to pull out the whole male versus female card.
Yeah.
Charlotte actually had a point. I don't care.
Listen, she does have a point. And like I said with her, it's this weird thing. She's you know what? John Cena is another one, just like Triple H back in 02, 03, or 03 or 4, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, they're the champ. I get it. They are the main event. They're very great. They're great at what they do.
Yeah.
But I'm to a point where I know they're not going to lose, then I just don't fucking care.
And then Monday happened. But anyway, we'll get there. Leroy.
Then we have the men's Money in the Bank with good old Big E.
Do you think Ricochet actually
becoming Money in
Do you
the
think
Bank?
Ricochet thought about that on the fly? Or do you think that was a spot?
Oh, that?
That was planned.
That was planned.
That was-
that was planned.
Did he tell Riddle he was going to do that? Because the expression on Riddle's face when he did that
But here's
was like,
the thing.
holy crap.
Here's the thing. I don't think he told Riddle.
Well, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle can sell you anything. That's the best part.
I could tell the only person that maybe didn't know anything was Matt Riddle, because those guys were set up to catch him. But
here's the brilliance of WWE versus
love
Spot
it.
Monkey. Yes, I got to bring this back in. The camera
doesn't focus on them setting it
didn't
up.
focus on the 5 guys on the floor looking at Ricochet until he was already halfway through the air.
Yeah.
And then they went back to Riddle going,
Dude, the camera work.
because everybody
You can
at
hate
home-
Vince, but he knows which camera to be on when
Like
he
I
needs
said,
to
the
be.
only thing I hate sometimes is Kevin, what's his face, who does a lot of he's the head of their production.
Kevin Dunn.
So sometimes he just has too many camera cuts and it
Yes,
makes
no,
you
yeah,
nauseous.
no, I agree.
But otherwise, this match was phenomenal.
Yes,
That
it
was-
was.
Matt Riddle is the baby face of the future that this.
And for all the people on the internet, the charges have been dropped because in reality, like WWE was already aware of, there really wasn't much to go on.
Charges. Oh, with him. Yes.
Yes.
Matt Riddle is a cleared and freed man. Once again, that will always hurt someone's reputation. But the fact is that, again, I don't know what happened to this young lady. I'm not going to say that I know 100% what happened. But there was clearly not enough evidence to continue.
Everyone filled their roles perfectly in this match. I got to give it to Seth. I got to give it to Seth.
He had me for a second.
He had me for a second.
He had me for a second.
I was like, oh, son of a bitch. He actually is going to win this damn thing.
Yep.
And then just right at the last moment, Big E got him like, oh, wait.
He squished. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, wait.
I'm not going to lie to you. I actually thought they were just going to put it on Shinsuke for a second because, God,
he was close.
He was close on about 5 different occasions there.
He was his story was funny because I'm like, wait, wait, we're pushing Shinsuke again? We're actually doing this again? Are we going to do it right this time?
Yeah.
But listen, everyone did
Well,
what
but
they
here's
were
the deal.
supposed to
Here's the
do.
deal. I never hated what they did with Shinsuke and AJ.
Well, no.
I just don't think they finished it correctly.
Yes.
But I think
Yeah.
overall it was a great
It
story.
was a great feud.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
feel the power of the money. Feel the power of the briefcase. Big E. And by the way, that pop was great. I
Oh my
loved
God,
it.
it
It
was
was so good.
He is
Great pop.
deserving.
Even though I think most people thought that's where it was going,
Yeah.
it was still fun to see.
I
Yes.
One
was
thing Vince will do is
so
even if
happy.
it gets out on the rumor mills, he still creates so
He'll
much
still-
suspense in the match.
That's why I tell people, it's not that Vince doesn't give you what you want. He just tries to surprise you with it. That's
yeah,
all.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
All right.
anyway,
Last match of the night
yep.
was the Tribal Chief defeating Edge for the Universal title.
They
This
were
was epic.
this fuck you, Dave Meltzer.
This was epic.
Here's the deal. And Jesse, if you want to throw something at me, throw something at me. But here's the deal. In my opinion, in the American style of wrestling,
Okay.
this is up there with Okada and Kenny and deserved to be a 6-star match.
And you know what? I'll that's fair. In the American style, yes. Because comparing the two would be difficult.
Hey, no, exactly. But the thing about it is that for a continuation of
Yeah.
about 8 different storylines,
Yeah.
all of Roman's bloodline, Edge's return, Edge's this, Edge's that, and then of course the aftermath, which was actually not just the
Actually
aftermath.
makes sense.
The aftermath was not a placenta; it was actually a beautiful baby boy.
Very healthy.
That AEW is how you do something.
Yes.
That's how you premiere.
Well, it also doesn't hurt the fact that Pat McAfee Pat McAfee brought back a meme from 10 years ago.
Yes, he did.
Well, that's
God, I love you, Pat.
Oh, yeah.
It's John. Where? And the best part is John had already come through.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get back to the point, John Cena surprised everybody by appearing at the end of the match after Roman had
See,
won.
That's what I didn't expect.
And Edge, by the
Did
way,
not expect that at all.
Edge, great veteran move. He got out of the way quickly.
They did the brawl and then he got himself and
Yep.
Seth out
Yep.
quickly.
As
For
I
that.
said, me and Eben, Claire was tired and
Yeah.
went to sleep.
Yep.
Me and Eben are watching that, and we're like, both of us are just geeking out.
I'll be honest, I popped.
Oh, so did we.
It's so like I told people, I'm like, it's crazy now to think of who I was back in 2009 to 2012,
Yeah.
especially with wrestling, because like seeing him.
If you go back and
today,
tell that guy that you would
will
pop that
for
hard
Cena
for
in
Cena
2021.
in 2021.
I'd
I'd be like,
Bullshit.
I'm gonna whoop Jesse's ass. You're
Yeah.
a liar.
Yeah.
But like just seeing him, I'm like, man, I really do appreciate him.
It also was a shocker. Nobody knew, and that's the thing. No one knew he was in town.
Yeah.
We were all thinking it was Becky because she posted a picture in front of the arena, which obviously she was just there to be the good wife.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that we were all concentrating on Becky and,
Yeah.
and all just gave up on the night having a surprise. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh.
The fans went crazy, and like it, and I'm like, that felt good too because I'm like, yeah, he got a little bit of the whole Cena sucks, but it's almost like the Kurt Angle thing out of love and respect now.
At this point, John just laughs at that more than he laughs at the cheers.
And it was
Definitely.
but like the cheering, it was almost like The Rock came back with. I was like, I'm actually appreciative that this fan base, after not being able to go to shows and stuff,
Yeah.
can see John Cena and go like, damn, it's good to see you. Even though most of the time we can't. Tonight, damn, it's good to see you.
And then, John, I don't mean to steal your spotlight, but ladies and
totally stole his spotlight.
ladies and gentlemen, if you work hard enough, if you have an idea that you believe in, and if you grab the ear of the right person, and you just continue to believe, you will become almost a superhero and have a belt, a utility belt at the end of it. Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow,
the next
yeah.
night,
Yeah.
I was about to weep until I got so tired. But here's the deal. Nikki Cross, Nikki Ash, whatever you want to call her, is the Raw Women's Champion. She got it in front of a crowd.
Yes.
She did exactly what she should have done with it. And folks,
and here's where I will eat crow. Charlotte, I must give you credit.
You also ripped this gimmick the first night.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
You went live within seconds.
Yes, I did. I went live into Pro Wrestling Lounge. I went live into Reddit, and I was like, but I also said after I ripped the shit out of it, I'm like, I'm going to give it time. Because then the next day, I read Damo's.
Yep.
That's his real name, people. I read Damo's tweet.
Yep.
And
Killian Dane, for
those who don't know. And he was saying, like,
she came up with it.
She's been pitching this to them and how to get here for like 5 months.
The other thing about it for me is, and this is with all the love and respect, I really think that Nikki, when she worked with Alexa, was able to reinvent herself in a way that I think Nikki felt better body consciously.
Yeah.
Because Nikki really got much more athletically toned working with Alexa.
Yeah.
Than when she was with Sanity.
Yeah.
So my whole thing about it is that, yeah, okay, am I nitpicking? Folks, I hate to say it, sex sells, get over it, that's the way the world works.
And I think the big thing is like, well, because remember, in NXT, she was always the bridesmaid as far as the NXT Women's Championship.
Exactly.
Because she got close 3 times, but she never won it.
But the thing about it is that, look, if Vince has this thing about women, it's not that Vince has a fetish, it's that that's how the business works. And in my opinion, Nikki, when she was with Alexa, really started to sort of body image show up on camera, which might, change the perception of people backstage. Because remember, we're still trying to sell tickets here. Sorry, folks, the hot blonde thing still works. Cold-blooded Americans are cold-blooded Americans.
I will say this about Nikki overall. Listen. This is why you can't tell me WWE doesn't want new stars. He just wants to see you try something. He can hear that it works with the fans, and all of a sudden you are at the top of what he considers his.
In my opinion, because Nikki finished up the last 2 weeks of COVID era as almost a superhero.
Yeah.
If the first couple of pops hadn't have been what they were,
she probably wouldn't be Raw Women's Champion.
She wouldn't be Raw Women's Champion, but it was there and Vince could tell it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what?
And here's what I will say. Because even my guy Brian from F4W Video, as you guys know, the guy who talks to Dave Meltzer all the time.
Yeah, Brian Alvarez.
He even was like, listen.
It's Alvarez?
Yeah. He was like, listen. Also, marketing Vince sees as he heard those pops, you can sell this to kids.
Yeah.
You could sell the cape to your children, and they'll love it.
The mask would be fun. The butterfly shirt would go well.
And then to see the wrestlers' Twitter reactions to like, hell yeah.
Well, but Nikki's always been someone that just
beloved. She's been working her ass off.
When you watch Ride Along with Nikki and Alexa, Nikki's just Nikki.
Yeah.
And my whole thing about it was that I actually think we need to give more credit where credit's due, because I don't know where she was going to go with the Twisted Sister gimmick.
To me, without because I always said without Sanity, or if you're not going to put her with Bray, she has to do something else.
And here's the thing. And this is something that needs to be said. You put her in the complete opposite thing she was doing.
Yes.
You put her with Alexa Bliss, who's now doing Nikki shit. But at the time, the goddess, the gorgeousness, the talking, the dressing a certain way, the showing off to the crowd, the coming out and just posing on the ropes and letting us just admire you, that was not what Nikki was doing.
Yeah.
And you could tell Nikki looked a little nervous the first couple of weeks, but then Nikki came out of her shell and you realized, okay, Alexa and Nikki are the same girl but 2 different versions.
Yeah.
One is the version you can't have, but the other one is the version that is gorgeous but also has that funniness to her. And you sit there and you realize, okay, you can be gorgeous and you can be funny. And
Nikki's also a hell of a wrestler.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
just
she is.
This moment was so great. I popped.
It was just a damn shame The only damn shame about it was that technically they had to run her out there really quickly because they were running out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
like when cash-ins are fast.
Yeah.
That's
it
the
almost
best
helped
ways.
her more.
Because the Carmella one sucked because the ref asked like 20 times, "Are you sure?" Well, clearly, Mike, she's fucking sure. She's out there telling you to do it. Why do you keep asking? I know some people don't remember that. SmackDown
I do.
I remember that.
It was just like, dude, just cash it.
Just cash the damn
You were
thing.
angry. But yeah, listen, she's deserving.
Yes.
I think, listen, because also, it made sense story-wise. This is two women she beat and beat the clock.
Yep.
These are two women who kept treating her like she was a joke.
Yep.
And now both women have to go, well, shit, our own animosity against each other.
Yep.
She's been working hard this whole damn time, and she bested us both.
This woman changed gimmicks in the middle of a weird time in WWE. She did something that I don't know how comfortable she was in real life. Alexa, we all know, has the issues, but we all know that when the camera goes on, it's a completely different Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Lexi Kaufman, it's Alexa Bliss. But my point is this. She got thrown from something she was clearly excelling in into something that, let's be honest, ain't nobody think that she was supposed to be in a beauty pageant scenario with Alexa Bliss. It worked. We fell in love with it. I don't know why, but we did.
Like I said, when I first saw it, yeah, I went on Pro Wrestling Lounge. I went to Reddit. I'm like, what the fuck have they done?
But here's the deal. Even before ASH, she was kind of just floating out there.
True.
They kept her off TV.
Yeah.
Vince finally let her do it because she probably pushed him a little far, but hey, that's what you got to do.
But hey, with Vince, you just keep going. Wait, listen, I really think this thing will work.
Here's the deal. At some point, Vince is just going to become so bored with you, he'll say, go for it. That's when you take advantage of it.
There you go. That is true.
But the thing is that this Candice LeRae's journey has not been documented as much on TV because she was the indie darling.
Yes.
So I'm in love with her moment for that. But this girl, from something that she clearly excelled in to something that she didn't belong in on camera to just being irrelevant to then being in that moment the biggest joke in the world to now being on top.
Yeah.
That's it right there, man. Folks. That's not the American dream. That's the wrestling dream. That's how it goes. So congratulations to Nikki ASH. You are still almost a superhero, but you are a Raw Women's Champion.
Deserving.
And just everything about it. And here's the deal. We're not even gonna talk about the run she'll have. I don't want to ruin this moment. I don't even want to get into that. Okay? We're not gonna talk about that till it happens. Right now, it's about thank you, Nikki, for sticking it out. Thank you for everything, and thank you for Damo.
Yes,
there we go.
For being so professional.
I think especially when Damo after that first night where everyone was like, "What is this?" including myself, and I think we all read it. We all saw what he had to say. Because remember, he ended up getting released a week later. By the way,
yes, a week before I think.
Yeah, I think a week before.
Yeah.
And still have respect for WWE, and he put that out there. And everyone was like, "Okay, let's give this a chance."
Thank you, Damo, for not getting bitter, for not getting angry, and he had every right to be if he had.
Yeah.
But thank you for understanding that this moment was not about you.
Yeah.
That this was not meant to be anything involving you. This was for a young lady who has worked her butt off and is just as deserving as any other woman in that division.
Absolutely.
Is she deserving of $1 million slot? No, gonna be honest. Is she deserving to get a chance to be a champion? Abso-freaking-lutely.
And like I said, what'll be interesting now that they've set up, and we didn't get to it today, but I'll just kind of put it out there.
Yeah.
It's two very interesting triple threats now going into SummerSlam.
We're gonna talk about both those triple threats next week. But anyway, we're back.
Before we get done, I tell you one thing before we get done. And I'm surprised you don't know because your lovely lady at home would be celebrating this day. Her favorite guy's birthday is today, Finn Balor. Did you know that?
I did. I was going to surprise her after work.
Oh, I'm glad you're going to do that. I'm really glad. She will really appreciate it. But happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Prince David.
She has a crush on Finn Balor, huh?
Just a little bit.
He's on Cameo.
Oh crap!
If you do that for her,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
She has a wedding coming up in 2 weeks.
So
or in 2 years.
So I'm gonna get on Cameo and we'll just see what happens.
Okay.
Okay,
that's fair.
We'll just see what happens.
Luckily, she doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, good. So this
She doesn't listen to the show.
Not as much as you'd think.
Oh, jeez. All right.
She has to listen to me enough at home. Anyway, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back. In 2 weeks, we won't be back, but I believe you're coming with us to Stillwater.
I am coming with you.
We're
guys.
going to Stillwater.
We're going to
everybody.
Stillwater.
15th, they're going to Stillwater, and it looks like some of my equipment is going down the next Sunday to Discover Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
So we'll be able to do a podcast on the road.
That's going to be fun.
Here's the
It's
deal.
not that far down the road, but it's down
Here's
the
the
road
deal,
away
folks.
from
Here's the
my
deal, folks.
kitchen.
Here's
That
the deal.
is
I have
awesome.
already figured out that from the moment I wake up at like probably 7 a.m. on that Sunday,
We're going to be busy.
it's going to be wrestling. It's just going to be wrestling till 8:30.
Well, because I want people to remember the night before is, guess what? SummerSlam.
Yes.
I know. I'll be enjoying SummerSlam. Then I'm going to go to bed and get up and
We
go.
could theoretically do a show from ringside.
Oh.
You guys don't know how special of August 22nd you guys might be in for.
Yes.
We are gonna
Anyway,
have a
from all
night.
of us here at 13 Card Subject Change, Jay's Take now on our official Facebook and on our official YouTube.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are getting up there in the Facebook likes, 253.
Hey.
Why that's 200 less than our subscribers on YouTube, I don't know. We have to get that fixed.
We got to get definitely.
Jesse's got to
that
get on the
fixed.
line to all these people who liked us on Facebook
Yes.
and get them to like us on
And as I always
YouTube.
tell, if you ever kind of, if you're anonymously talking to me in Reddit, because I'm in there all the time,
yes.
debating pro wrestling, because I just love this
He
so
does
much.
it. She does it.
Go get your ass to the YouTube page, man. There's content.
And
the
by the
shows
way,
are great.
to all the people that anonymously yell at Jesse on Reddit, you're more than welcome on the show.
you really are.
Yeah.
You really are.
You're more than welcome
And remember,
on the show.
if you watch YouTube, you can see me get hit in the nuts.
Exactly. It's
And you
always
can
a good
also
time.
yell at Zach.
Yes.
It won't get you anywhere, but you'll get it off your chest.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on Spotify. We are on iTunes. We are on Podomatic.com, where guess what? Might have had a week up, but we're coming for those top 2 spots in the
Yes,
wrestling.
we are.
We were still number 2
Wow.
this week.
Quality,
we were
baby.
still in the top 10 for
Quality,
last
baby.
week. Google Podcast. Got that figured out. We are on there. Search for us. Will you find us on there
Podcast.
also.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you all next week, and in 2 weeks, we might see you from a very special place.
Yes.